Good afternoon, and welcome to Griffin Tank Spring 2024's Defense of the Plan. I want to welcome our guests and assure you that we are going to have a very interesting event. I want to thank business faculty administration who are joining us here today, and I especially want to especially recognize Loretta McLaughlin, who is one of the members of our board of directors who has come to watch and observe today. So we do have some of our customers here. We have Chestnut Hill Brewing Company. We have Tailored Home. And I do know other businesses are coming close to the time of their presentation. I want to tell you that we have food from Chestnut Hill Brewing Company. We have food from Matines, and we have food from Marciano's. And please, especially judges, take time to taste the food along with other foods that we have coming. This spring, the students divided into groups and met with members of the Chestnut Hill Business District, as well as other businesses in the Philadelphia area. After discussion, 7 student groups had formed consultant agreements. The students met with the businesses, learned about the specific businesses, and discussed the issues that concerned the owners. Ultimately, the students were given directives from the businesses as to what they needed or what they requested. The student groups then discussed the concepts, completed research, met with the business owners to review their research and recommendations. They met with me and with other members of the Chestnut Hill Business faculty, and are here today to present the results of their research and their recommendations. We have a very varied group of judges this time, and I really would like to introduce each of them. We have Pierre, and Pierre, I always say your name wrong. Could you say it? That's right. Pierre Alseguer, MBA. He is a 2022 CHC graduate with a dual major in business administration and accounting. He has an MBA in data analytics from LSU Shreveport. His team won Griffin Tank back in spring of 2022, which was Stadium Sprint, and he's currently employed as a senior treasury settlement analyst at FISSERV. We have Robert Biddle, who is a CPA. He is a member of our Center for Business Advisory Group. He's a retired principal from Bowman & Company, located in Voorhees, New Jersey. He was the chair of his CPA Firm Management Association. For those of you that are accounting majors and minors, he was the director of PIPA, which is the Pennsylvania Institute of CPAs, for over 5 years. He was an adjunct professor of business at Drexel, and he, as I mentioned, is a member of our advisory board. So you would, accounting majors and minors, you may want to meander over at some point and talk to Bob. Laura Hahn Carroll is, I have to start with, she's the wife of our beloved instructor, center chair, Jeffrey. She is the director of B2B sales and events at Insomnia Cookies, and there are Insomnia Cookies back there, and I can tell you from the fall, they went fast. She has over 10 years of experience in B2B sales, catering events, and customer service. She is the co-director of Camp Celiac in Rhode Island and a cross-cultural solutions volunteer. Christopher Cordero, MBA, is also a CHC graduate. He is a real estate developer, realty management with a focused vision on new urbanism. Say that right? Okay. He has an MBA in International Business. He has project manager certification. And know that starting in January, we do have a project management certificate beginning, and Chris has been a huge help with us in that. He is a member of our advisory board. He's also a big brother. Isn't that awesome? Alfonso Nathan, MA, LPC, which is licensed professional counselor, and LBS, which is licensed behavioral specialist. I should think I knew that. He has an undergraduate degree from Bloomsburg, where he played football. He has a master's in clinical psychology and applied psychology from Chestnut Hill. He is a co-founder and VP of the lead-based clinician of Brightside Medical Associates. He is a published author, and he is this amazing motivational speaker. If you want a motivational speaker, he is amazing. I have Luis Perez. He is the Senior Client Service Associate for JP Morgan Chase & Company and has numerous finance certificates. So those of you with the finance concentration that are interested in finance, he's the man. He is one of our graduates. He is an alum of our International Business, Language, and Culture program, which we are bringing back, which is very exciting. And while at CHC, he was the vice president and co-founder of La Vox Latina. And we have David Schlosser, DBA, MBA. I need to say this, David has an MBA. I taught him his MBA. So just know there's this relationship between David and I because I taught him his MBA. He is a data analyst advisor for Velocity Advisory Group. He's an adjunct professor at various colleges, and he's an expertise in entrepreneurship, which fits into some of the businesses we have today. So the judges have reviewed your plans, have reviewed the rubrics, and have come prepared to question. So let's begin. The first group is Tailored Home.
Hello, my name is Brenda Beebe, and my expertise is in accounting.
Hello, my name is April Ayola, and my expertise is accounting.
Hi, I'm Josh Poland. My expertise is in business management and administration.
How you doing? I'm John Barlow. My expertise is also in business management and administration.
This semester, we had the pleasure of working with Tailored Home. And before we begin, I would like to say that we did not have access to their financial statements. So all our recommendations are very cost effective, and we are only asking for $10,000. Star is the owner of Tailored Home. However, we worked extensively with Julia, who is the marketing manager. And there are 4 segments to Tailored Home. They are their moving, custom furniture, interior design, and the retail storefront. At the retail storefront, they sell elegant homeware from bedding to glassware and everything in between. They also have a design studio there where clients can choose paint color and fabrics.
So Tailored Home currently operates in 2 different locations. The first at the top there being Chestnut Hill, Pennsylvania. That's the location that we've worked, focused on primarily during our research and collaboration with the company. The second location is down at the bottom of the map there in Greenville, Delaware. They opened there in September of 2023, and basically what happened was they took over where another interior design company was. And basically they took over the market and they took over the market and the established customer base that was already set in place there. The third location we have marked is in Rittenhouse Square. It's nothing set in stone yet. However, Tailored Home has stated that they would like to open their 3rd store there very soon in the coming future.
So what was requested from us, from our clients, was focus on increasing brand awareness. And we're focusing on doing this by increasing and expanding various social media pages and our website and our client's website. Tailored Home is also looking to expand on the number of bigger projects that they have with bigger clientele by reaching out to contractors and getting them to request Tailored Home as their go-to. And Tailored Home is also looking to merge their Tailored Transitioning and Tailored Home. Their Tailored Transitioning is a moving company, and then the Tailored Home would be the interior design for the new place or restaurant or apartment that the customer is moving into.
So our recommendations for Tailored Home will be to change their marketing plan and their management style, as well as focus on improving their key performance indicators for the business. In addition to this, we also want to broaden their target market, going beyond just word of mouth and newsletters by making more of an online presence and making connections get those larger projects, such as connecting with real estate agents, contracting companies, and getting in contact with wedding planners, so that these individuals can get in contact with Tailored Home and register through them. In addition, we also were looking to improve their website and the specific descriptions of their products and services.
Any questions?
Yeah, first question is the org structure is very concise. When you have multiple locations, do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people handle all sites or just the one site?
That was just for the Chestnut Hill location.
First of all, you guys did a good job. I know the first presentation was the hardest, so those are you guys. Well, I have a couple questions. First one is like the turnaround time. What's the turnaround time for if they are creating a customized release? There we go. Not much better. What's the turnaround time for a customizable piece?
Usually around 1 to 3 weeks. It wouldn't go past like 3 weeks usually.
Okay. All right.
Obviously depending on the size or what is being customized.
Now, compared to other companies that are in that market, how is that? Is it a quicker turnaround time? Is it the same? Is it longer?
It's a fairly quick turnaround time because they do their own customization, so they don't have to go to someone to do that for them. They have their own.
Nice. And for the website, are you guys thinking about making it a little bit more interactive for like an a la carte type of ordeal?
Explain that more?
Like you can build your own type of design or so, like it's like for the website.
Not specifically for the website. There's a bridal registry that you can use for the website to get specific items, but for the customization, you would have to go and get a consultation and then get whatever you want customized.
Okay, cool.
You wrote that we do not believe that Tailored Home is interested in promoting/creating new products or introducing them to a new audience. Why?
We believe with all the segments they already have that there's no need to expand anymore, and it would only cost more and distract from their focus.
I would just like to add, they have a specific target audience in mind, and reaching that target audience more would be more cost effective than trying to branch out in other ways with other products or stuff like that. So that's why we're focusing on not changing or doing anything with the product itself.
Question for you. Why am I looking at a hand-drawn chart for financials in the paper or in the presentation? Why is the chart hand-drawn instead of using Excel?
I hand drawed the graph because we're doing it through Word, so we wanted to find a way to like draw it as opposed to like making a picture so that we could be more interactive with the graph. By drawing it, we could like update it. And with the picture, we really couldn't do much with it, and I had to like do it based off the income demographics of Tailored Home's target market.
Just FYI, you can do it in Excel and embed it in Word, just FYI.
I understand that Tailored Home didn't allow you to see their financials, but of the markets where they reside, what is the median income or the potential money that's available in those areas?
So ideally, their target market is middle class to high class, and most of the target demographic in the Chestnut Hill area meets about like 60 to 75% of that. So anyone that earns at least like 55 and up, like 55,000 or higher, will be their target demographic.
What about I'll just keep asking. Oh, it does?
Hello.
What was the analysis that you did externally on such an issue as the housing market itself? Mortgage rates are going up. People may be willing to sell their homes, but not a lot of buyers for the homes. So I feel like the demand is not there. How did you, I guess, analyze the external environment for this company, making their brand more aware?
So I did the real estate analysis by going on to the real estate companies and going to like news forums and stuff like that on how there's like a decline on that and how the housing market is increasing and how it could be a little off-putting to attract new clients. So I was looking towards like maybe Taylor Homes should market towards the homes that are like in the $1 million range, as those will probably be the individuals that will be able to afford like a $10,000 project and et cetera.
You mentioned that brand awareness was the ask they had for you. What are they doing now for brand awareness, and what is your recommendation besides social? Like, can you go a little bit deeper?
So there's a few areas like our social media, our client social media pages don't get the attraction that they are looking for advertisements. So we did research into which social medias would be better to hold advertisements for. For example, our client has one Facebook ad running right now. It's also 4 years old, so it's a little outdated. But we looked at how many how many adults, I think it was between 45 and 65, actually went on to these social media apps, and we found that 30% go to Instagram to get their news, and only 16% go to, say, Instagram. Or 30% go to Facebook, and 16% go to Instagram. So we figure it would be cost effective to run these Facebook ads because more of our clients or potential clients would be reached.
You mentioned the focus was the management styles of the company. Which flaws did you notice, and how is that holding the company back?
I wouldn't say it was a flaw that I noticed, but I did notice that they could possibly implement a new system where they could be possibly more helpful towards future clients by assessing the customer's, happiness or the quality of products or the prices by gauging the reaction of customers and informing and training employees to be more persuasive or more like salespeople in a sense. So it'll be almost like a patriarchal system where management kind of tells the employees what to do and how to sell a project. So that was something that we thought we would suggest to them.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your presentation. That was great. I appreciate your time as the first group as well. It sounds like you were challenged with a consolidation effort of major programs within the firm's revenue streams, and with brand awareness as a primary objective, while merging moving departments with interior design, sometimes in a consolidation effort like that, you sometimes lose some of the brand identity as different aspects of the company merge together, essentially. So when you did the analysis of the cost considerations that may be applied to consolidating some of the efforts through social media and whatnot, how did you view the brand identity when a lot of these different aspects of the company were merged together to focus more strongly on the brand awareness, the differentiation of that?
When we were merging when we considered merging them together, we thought that it would only make the brand identity stronger because it's still Tailored Home. It's just so spread out now, it's kind of hard to market each segment. Instead, we thought combining it together would be better overall because it's still Tailored Home, it's just easier to manage.
Also, maybe merging is the wrong word or an incorrect word. What the goal is to get someone who obviously needs to move into an apartment or moving from somewhere, and then after that has happened, the contractor then says, here's Tailored Home. Like this, it's kind of a sister company. Here's this like the same business where you can now get all your customized, like whatever you want customized, and any interior design needs. Yeah.
What did you learn, not from Tailored Home, but from each other during this project that you worked on?
Communication is key to everything. No matter how bad something like is, as long as you're communicating, there's a way to work through that. Sometimes, me specifically, I wasn't like responding to some text or something here and there, and I would fall behind quite quickly, like from the project. And then through just talking with my partners, we worked through it, and here we are today, where it was better.
I would also say working on things you're not used to. I'm an accounting major, so I didn't really do a lot of marketing here at Chestnut Hill, but that was the main focus of this project, so I kind of had to learn as I went.
Guys, my question, you said you were asking for $10,000 for the project. Would that encompass all the social media marketing that you intend on doing? And with that said, would that encompass other platforms and the content created that is to be created for that social media platform?
Yes. So all of our recommendations don't exactly cost an exponential amount of money. For example, we recommend to branch out to a website called Houzz, where you can, if you're looking for a contractor or a professional tradesman or something, you can go to that website, search in the area, search in the profession, and then so local businesses come up with reviews and everything. We recommend going on to and setting up an account for that, which is free. There is a Houzz Pro, or a premium version, where you can pay $200 a month for, which you can get your listing higher up, so it's more viewed. We recommend to just do the free version first for that, and then see how much traffic actually gets driven, how many customers you actually gain, and then go see if if the premium version is worth it. Also, the Facebook ads, on average, I think it was page 18 or 19 on the business plan, it was on average $1,000 for every 1,000 impressions you get for a Facebook ad. It would cost you roughly $10, which is pretty cost ineffective. And if they were to put out more Facebook ads, and they reached all of their target audience, which I think is only about 35,000 in the area, it would only be roughly $350 per ad if the ad did very well.
But that would be for the ad itself or the production of the content? So is it just pictures or?
That would be for just running the ad.
Just
Yeah.
running there.
Yeah.
So the cost doesn't include what it would cost to create that content? So whoever's
No.
taking pictures or videos?
Which shouldn't be really a big cost, because once the projects are finished, like the projects are already being done, and then you can just take pictures of previous projects or previous works, like previous customized works, and use those for advertisements.
You mentioned that the company planned to open a new location What opportunities awaits there, and how do you plan to help them reach those new clients there?
The one main thing was I was looking up the competition. There is only one other interior design, or there are 3 other interior design companies, businesses in the Rittenhouse Square area. So there would be a lot of potential for drawing in those customers.
Sorry, one more question. Who are their top referrals now that from the individuals that they're getting the work from? Are we noticing a pattern of a certain company, a certain area?
It's mostly walk-ins that are coming into the Chestnut Hill location, and then from there, if they need a customized piece or a piece from their display store downstairs, they can then find that, and then once they're in the door, then they try to get the consulting for the bigger projects, for the actual moving or a full room or house renovation.
So, but how did they hear about it? Did they just walk by and they saw it was a nice pretty sign?
Yeah, it's walk-ins. Yeah,
Okay.
because
all right.
the bottom half of the store is very aesthetic, so it draws a lot of customers.
So the majority of the people that they are getting a sale from is just
Right now they want to be the recommendation for contractors,
Okay.
for local contractors in the area. That way, if anyone has anything done on their house, they can then get recommended tailored home for all their needs.
Question down here. So the $10,000 investment it sounds like it's primarily tech. Some of that search engine optimization as well, at least the cost per click, stuff like that. I'm just wondering behaviorally, what changes in the company that is going to drive this brand awareness? It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just appear, right? You can't buy it. Somebody's actually got to run it. So where are the resources that are going to work on that?
We recommend Julia to mostly take on that responsibility. She recently took over this role, and so we were attempted to give her guidance about what we think she should focus on.
Okay, so you did mention though, what was the last ad they had on social media? You said it was 4 years ago?
Yeah, Facebook's 2020.
So again, my question is, what behaviorally will change with Julia, for instance, running it? Have you seen that expectation that things will change?
So right before or right during the first week of talking with our client, Julia actually was in the process of renovating the website. So I was looking at some of the other actually all the other competition's websites, and they all feature something unique or focused to kind of draw the eye. So like that, there's a willingness to branch out and try new things.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
Because if it's not there, then what's the 10,000 really gonna accomplish?
Yeah, and recently they've been posting more on their Instagram pages. Yeah, the Instagram page.
I want to dig a little deeper there. So of the $10,000, did you come up with an acquisition cost per customer? Like how many customers do you think they're going to bring in for that 10,000? And off of that, on a Facebook ad, if that's what you're putting the money into, where is it pointing to? Is it all going to Julia? Is it going to the website that needs to be redesigned? What is the action you're trying to get these new customers to do?
Overall, we're just trying to attract them to go to the website so that they can actually explore the products and services there and actually call Tailored Home so that they can get more exposure and people could come in and shop or call and get a consultation fee and how much it will cost and get ideas from them. So ideally the ads will be to bring more attention to the company as opposed just to the word of mouth or the newsletters that they send out monthly. It would just give them a lot more exposure and around the area, even outside of Chestnut Hill.
Thank you. And next we have Chestnut Hill Brewing Company.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to present the vision of Chestnut Hill Brewing Company to expand into the local catering market. My name is Annika, and alongside me today is my teammates Cole, Chris, and Stephanie. Chestnut Hill Brewing Company, a limited liability company, was first established in 2017 by owners Nick and Lindsay. Their mission is to be a community destination of choice in Chestnut Hill and create a memorable experience for people offering their plant-based foods and beer brewed on site. Chestnut Hill Brewing Company's current goal is to expand into the local catering market, with the main drive being to boost the lunch business and counter slower nights. The desired plan would be to do drop-off style catering and within the immediate area. In undertaking this project, our team analysed the local catering market to determine the industry trends and local demand and competition. Throughout this project, our team conducted market research, engaging in cold calling, emailing, and door-to-door marketing campaigns to try and gauge the local interest and competition within the area. We were also involved in social media promotional catering videos and designed a catering menu and brochures for our door-to-door marketing campaign. In total, our team reached out to around 50 schools, businesses, churches, hospitals, and so on, and within the Chestnut Hill, Lafayette Hill, and Bluebell area. And through our research, we also uncovered that there's around 18 potential competitors.
Thank you, Annika. So moving on to the market analysis and findings, by looking at factors such as location and price point, we were able to determine the target market for catering. It would definitely be upper middle class families, retired people, and individuals between 25 and 64 years old. Now we know in this age demographic there's a growing demand for these vegan and vegetarian food options, so we definitely want to target them. We also know that as a plant-based food offering establishment that we automatically attract those who are health conscious in their lifestyle, so we definitely want to target that as well. As Annika mentioned, we reached out to over 35 businesses. Unfortunately, we only received responses from 2. One of these was a negative review of a experience they had with other vegan catering, and the other response was just to let us know that they weren't interested at all. So things weren't looking too good on that front, but we made some brochures, we got some free samples, we went door knocking, we went to probably 15 to 20 schools, churches, and hospitals. People really like the menus, they really like the food options, but we still didn't receive any follow-up calls. So, in terms of their biggest opportunities within the market, we definitely think they should stay focused on their vegan and vegetarian and gluten-free food offerings. This is definitely their differentiating factor. This is what makes them stand out in the market, so they should keep going with that. We also want them to extend the target market to local aged care facilities, schools, daycares, and graduation parties. This is the biggest area to expand upon catering. We also think a big thing for them, a big opportunity could be partnering with a business that already operates within the catering field like very well. This would do 2 things. It would allow CHBC to have very little overhead costs because they're not doing the catering themselves, while also making a little profit on the side. The second thing it would do would get their feet wet in the catering industry, see if there's actually interest for their food offerings in terms of catering. And then they can go from there, branch out on their own and do their own thing with that if there is interest. Finally, they should join local food festivals just to get their name out there, raise awareness, bring in some new customers, and hopefully get some new catering clients.
Thank you, Chris. As we move on to the competitive advantages, some of their strengths brings into their being a plant-based product offerings and proven track record of delivering great service. Located about 15 to 20-minute drive from Conshohocken, Plymouth Meeting, and Bluebell. Another strength of theirs was they have a head chef that has catering background. They have a great company website, strong social media following, bringing 10,000 followers to Instagram, 4,000 followers on Facebook, and about 200 on TikTok. As we go into sales strategy, thank you. The primary goal will be to capitalize on CHBC's current business revenue while it's increasing earnings through the drop-off style catering venture, to diversify the seasonal catering menu to include more gluten-free or meat options, set measurable financial goals and budgets, consider decreasing catering prices to ensure a competitive price point, exploring opportunities to expand to a larger market by enlarging the desired delivery radius to 6 to 8 miles, engaging with customers to understand their needs through surveys, and having social media can provide valuable insights to refine product offerings and enhancing customers' experience.
Thank you, Steph. So real quickly, we're just going to take a look at the menu. As you guys can see through the plant and the VG option, 72% of the menu is vegan or vegetarian, or as they say, plant-powered. This is incredibly niche, and it breaks into the market that we're trying to break into of those plant-based customers. Items such as crispy Brussels sprouts, falafel burger, and the Beyond Burger sell incredibly well and are going to be some of the key points for our catering menu, as well as we do have options for meat carnivores, I guess, or people who enjoy traditional pub fare with items such as soft pretzels and the chicken burger. Moving into the risk assessment, so the operational capacity at Chestnut Hill Brewing Company is currently challenged by a smaller kitchen space and limited staff. This situation could potentially impact on the revenue growth and the scalability of our operations. Additionally, the market in Chestnut Hill presents challenges such as diverse customer preferences. We are seeing not entirely as much of a vegan-vegetarian market as we would love to see. However, it is still there and growing. And we also face some logistical constraints maintaining food quality over a longer delivery distance, impacting on our ability to serve a broader area. And financially, the need for infrastructure investments and seasonal variability further constrain the challenge of our stability. Ensuring food safety during transportation will still remain a top priority as well. Looking into the American catering and delivery market is ever-growing field. Over the last couple of years, especially following the COVID-19 pandemic, we're seeing an increase in business parties and people doing larger get-togethers again. According to the Socioeconomic Journal, cooking at home has increased by 38%, while takeout orders have surged by 88%. This continues to show a trend growing into the larger food market. And as stated, 48% of caterers have reported a growth in corporate events in the past year. That is according to the Grandview research. So our decision and recommendation, we're seeking a $45,000 to $50,000 investment to expand CHBC's catering operations and enable the purchase of a corporate van, as well as hiring 2 dedicated catering staffs and launching targeted marketing strategies in the area to enhance service delivery and increase order frequency to potentially move to a daily event in 3 to 5 years. As we stated, other attainable and more feasible options that we've brainstormed include partnering with local catering options within to help get us off the feet and see if there is that market for the vegan demographic within the next, without taking too much of a risk. And that'll be all.
Great job, guys. That was awesome. I have to say, knowing that you made 50 cold calls for your research is very impressive. So great job. I want to dig deeper into one of your suggestions about operations and working with a catering company. Did you explore any third parties like an Easy Cater, Hungry, those companies that will pick up catering orders so they don't need a van and help market in the area?
So looking into some of those companies, of course, we started with the traditional like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. We've seen that they've quadrupled in rates over the past 4 years. However, this is quote from one of our experts in the field that we've gone to. His name's Tommy Labor. He owns 2 businesses, a catering company and a bar and grill in the Lehigh Valley. He stated that he used those sites when he first started getting his catering off the board, and he's lost way too much money, and he wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You did a fair amount of research, as Laura indicated, but your response rate wasn't really good. What do you attribute that to?
I think given that one of our major ways that we did market research was door-to-door marketing, which isn't usually as enjoyed by companies. If you show up to their door unannounced, most people would not want to hear what you have to say and would like to turn you around. So I think that has something to do with it, but I think by following up with those companies and trying to build a relationship with them through emails or free samples continuously, I think that would build morale between Chestnut Hill Brewing Company and those companies, and hopefully with continued market research you'll be able to get more interest and more feedback from that.
Can I just do a follow-up on the reaching out? Oh, thank you. So was this sample that you collected out of convenience, or was it by design? Why did you choose these organizations to survey?
It was kind of just a combination of both. Lindsay, the owner, stated that she definitely wanted to stay within the area, so we were trying to look at places within the area that would meet our target audience. So it was just out of convenience, because also when we brought the free samples, we wanted them to be fresh for the businesses. And we don't have the van yet or the means to transport things far away, so we wanted to stick with these local businesses, which we knew we could provide like the best business for them if they decided to cater with us.
If you don't mind, I'll just ask. So process-wise, how do you envision this going, where it sounds like food and beverages, beer, whatever, will be dropped off at the location? What happens then? If I'm hosting an event and I have this dropped off, I wouldn't have it dropped off at the time of the event. I'd have it dropped off earlier than that. What happens to that food? Where does it sit? Where's the beer? Drinks sit? Are they refrigerated? What's that look like?
So just to start, we are simply trying to break into the market. So for our 5-year track for year one, I don't necessarily believe it would be entirely like traditional catering, more of like large scale drop to go, and having the people who get the food have that figured out for themselves. As we see that success and that revenue stream grow, then we can continue to reinvest into the catering market and then move into having as we stated, 2 dedicated staff members to have a full service catering event. But as of right now, we do not have the staffing to do that.
Again, great research. I love it. Couple questions. I know you guys are trying to get into the vegan market. Have we looked at the cost it takes to have a vegan menu? Is it what's the comparison? Does it cost more? Does it cost less?
Currently, we don't have like a specific kind of price point to give you. We weren't really involved in much financials, which we displayed on the plan. But to go off, usually plant-based options are a little bit higher in terms of like the competitive price point with competitors. But if you really focus on that segment, that niche segment of plant-based consumers who really want that, and it's an ever-growing trend at the moment, that industry is just going to keep on growing. So I think if you focus in on that, hopefully within 5 years you get that segment that will not be so focused on the price and would want to purchase your product.
Yeah, that would be the hope. But like, say if it's like a 50%, increase in creating a meal, that's gonna make a big dent in just your overall operational costs already. So, because $45K, it's still not that much, because you're looking for that to buy a van and 2 workers, plus the kitchen. So yeah, so it's a lot of things that for $45,000, and it's a drop in the bucket. So my question is, for these 2 workers, are they seasonal? How long are you going to keep them?
So if I could comment on that, the number we got, $45,000 to $50,000, was a direct quote from, again, the witness, Tommy Labor. That was the number that he put into investing into his catering business, and they started with a used minivan for $25,000 to $30,000, which we've seen in the area, as well as 2 workers. They would not be, Chestnut Hill Brewing Company is only open 5 days a week currently, and we would have them be working 3 days a week when we're open for lunches of those 3 days out of the week. They would work 8 hours a shift. The traditional price point for a catering worker is $12 to $15 an hour. They then get a tip percentage out off of the revenue that they would gain. $12 an hour for 2 workers working 8-hour shifts across 3 days a week is $9,500, which brings us to about a little under $20,000 on top of the $25,000 to $30,000, which is where we get our number.
Good. That sounds great. That's one person that you guys got that info from. And the thing is, it's also about finding those type of workers. you're gonna need to make sure that you're gonna have a lot more than just the 45 in order to have 2 quality workers. Because again, you can get individuals who are just not that good, but if you're trying to break the market, you want to get the best of the best, and that's not gonna cut it. So that's one portion. And have you guys also looked at even for some collaboration with businesses, maybe even for some pharmaceutical companies as well, because they also work with catering when they are talking with doctors' offices and like maybe more like corporate events as well. That's more quality and quantity.
I mean, yeah, when we did the door knocking, we went to Chestnut Hill Hospital. We went to almost every wing of the hospital, handed out the brochures, talked to people, talked to everyone there. Still received no follow-ups. They said they enjoyed the food, still received no follow-ups. So I don't know if it's just we got to keep on going kind of thing, but
absolutely,
it just doesn't seem like the interest is there because we definitely put in the work to try and establish ourselves with these places. They just don't seem interested so far.
Yeah, that's the hospitals. I'm talking about like the companies that sell to the hospitals, because there are certain companies that go to these doctors' offices that bring catering food, and that's just it's consistent revenue, and they usually find 5 or 6 of places that they really like in that area, and that can really just increase your growth tremendously, because now you can use that to market out. Hey, we're partnered with Merck, we're partnered with J&J, we're partnered with these individuals in order to help continue to and they love our catering because it's amazing. So because if you're trying to really work on branding, you need to have some names behind your situation. I love the name of the Chestnut Hill Brewing Company. It's great, so it's a brandable and marketable thing. So now it's a lot easier to get other brandable companies to want to work with you guys. That, as well as maybe even some independent halls, like places that rent out for events. They are always looking for other catering services that may be a little bit better for the niche that they're looking for. So.
Hi, everyone. Kind of a 2-part question. Your solution to partner with existing businesses as a ramp-up cost savings effort, when you did that cost savings analysis and kind of compare that to all of the operating expenses, what specific aspects of operating expenses did you identify as, okay, this could be a cost-saving effort of all of their operations? And then the next part of that is, when partnering with an existing company, the identity of Chestnut Hill Brewing, may possibly be diluted, right? But it also could be an advantage. How did you tackle that analysis of possible pitfalls or possible advantages of that partnership opportunity?
So I think I'm gonna start with the second part of the question first. The potential dilution of the branding, that is of course something that we had to take into account. I remember I was talking with Professor Schlossinger about it, and we were like, you need to find the vegan market first. And the only way to find that is to jump in with people who do more traditional catering, which we do lack in the traditional meat eating kind of form. So companies like Southern Flames Barbecue, they might be able to cater to a large group of people and then have like 1 or 2 vegans in that group. Demir Key is a student here. He's a vegan, and that was one thing that he stated and we cited in our research, is that he is one of 6 siblings. When they cater, he traditionally has to step out of his way to go to a different restaurant to get his own food. So us being able to fill that gap for them so that they don't potentially lose customers and in fact gain more revenue in, is a way for us to kind of jump in, see how big that vegan market is, because let's say throughout the first year we see an increase in 30% of our crispy Brussels sprouts are going to them, then that helps us to allow ourselves to jump into that market full feet first, instead of having to kind of dip our toes and lets us dip our toe in the water instead of jumping in head first.
And then in terms of operational costs, we were kind of looking at, what resources would go into doing our own sort of catering drop-off style business. And so partnering with leading caterer already in that business who has already their customers and providing that plant-based food options. I think it would minimize, and they would essentially deliver it, or however they kind of run their company, I guess they would deliver it that way. So through that, we wouldn't have to have as many resources expended from the core, I guess, business of the brewery and the restaurant on the job. So that's what we were mainly looking at. I mean, I know there's so many other options, like you can look at so much from like kitchen and food and inventory and all that stuff, but that's how we were going about it. Yeah, exactly. We were looking at like sort of taking like what would be taken away from the core business like model of Chestnut Hill Brewing, and how could we minimize the risk of, you know, any like sort of cannibalization sort of with that.
My question is related to the 88% increase in takeout orders in the past few years, and also the business having a 10K following on social media you mentioned. Why such a long wait, you know, to improve the business revenue and outcome? Why not now? The opportunity is here. Why such a long wait?
Wait, sorry, I'm not sure if could you just reframe the question?
Yes, you mentioned there's an 88% increase in takeout orders in the past few years, and the business already has a large following on social media. Why aren't you able to reach those customers now? Why such a long wait? You mentioned 3 to 5 years expectation to turn around the business.
Okay, we were thinking of, so if we went forward with say if we got the investment for the van to deliver and the 2 helpers within the catering part of the Chestnut Hill Brewing Company, we were looking at, we'd dive in, but we were looking for, you know, the end result of us seeing that improved revenue within the 3 to 5 period. We don't want to just jump in and, you know, have the goal of, oh, this year we need to increase the revenue by this much without giving it time to establish ourselves within that market space. But yeah, the increase in takeout, I mean, Chestnut Hill Brewing Company already does takeout. It's more so looking at the catering drop-off style market, which is a little bit different. But yeah, it's definitely a market to tap into.
Just to continue on with that, yes, we've seen an 88% increase in takeout orders, but we do not, the data does not show the percentage of that being vegan and vegetarian based, which is the main concern we have going into the market. It's not that there isn't a market for takeout and catering, it's that is there a market for vegan and vegetarian takeout and catering? So for us, we would need to not, like she stated, not necessarily go balls to the walls year one, but instead ease our way into the sorry, I don't talk well. Ease our way into that vegan and vegetarian market, and as that grows, continue to grow with the market until we can find full-fledged vegan vegetarian catering.
I come from a profession that's filled with deadlines, you know, tax deadlines, audit deadlines. You had a deadline for this report that you're a little tardy on. How do you respond to that?
So we handed in our established business plan as soon as we possibly could, and the new one that I printed out, it had a couple of edits, but really it has not strayed far from the original business plan. But yeah, with deadlines, I mean, in the real world, there's deadlines in every job and every position. So I think this has been great practice to see what we need to do upon graduation and how we really need to do better at time management in that sense. But yeah, we wanted to provide you with the best possible plan, and we got it to you before we presented. You might not have, you don't have time to read over it, but at least we did the best we could for that position. But yes, I understand your question.
Question on another option would be food truck. Did you ever consider a food truck as an option? And if so, why not?
So we weren't given access to any of the financials, so we don't really know if we have the ability to get a food truck. Even if we got the investment money, we don't know if Chestnut Hill Brewing Company could sustain that kind of operation. So it's really just hard to say without having all the numbers and being able to look it over.
And then to just second that point, food truck workers cost about 1.5 times more than a catering employee would cost. So that would again raise the money stance of that, and as well as we would then need to have, they have one head chef and I believe two sous chefs. I just wanted to confirm that. 2 sous chefs, and with a food truck, you would need to have a one of those cooks in that food truck for the day, which would take them out of the kitchen.
So on the kitchen space for the brewery, what right now are they at capacity with their current space? And is this an additional lift to get to that catering option, even if it's just drop off, or is it possible within the current footprint?
I mean, if you look over the business plan, we set the parameters for what the catering would be in terms of number of people, and we talked it over with the business owner and the chef, and they said that they could make that happen right now. 40 to 60 people. So I don't think it's really an issue with kitchen space. They utilize it really well, even though it is small. I think it's just having those workers there to maintain the food and get the food there hot and ready to eat.
All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Price. Alongside me is Hillman Truss and Brendan Long. Today, we are here to introduce our client, Price Contracting, LLC. Price Contracting is a small contracting company in Philadelphia that's founded by Roger Price in 2019. They provide their services in Philadelphia and to the surrounding suburbs. They provide services from bath and kitchen renovations to full remodeling and handyman jobs to both commercial and residential structures. On page 4 of our business plan is our client's mission statement. As you can see, our client's company is based off hard work, trust, great quality, and open communication to give their customers their dream home. Our client asks us for 3 things. First, to direct him to sites to find qualified candidates who are looking for a career and not just a job. Our second request was to upgrade his marketing and advertising. And our final request was to upgrade his trucking operation to find him a new revenue stream to make money.
After discussion and investigation with the group and Mr. Price, we discovered the best possible solutions to meet our client's goals, which will be discussed in the next couple of slides. Our client currently has 4 employees, and he is looking for another laborer, carpenter, and driver for the box truck. We suggested looking for these employees through websites such as CareerBuilder, LinkedIn, and JobDiva. We have also suggested starting a summer internship and recruiting from Williamson Trade School to look for young talent who are interested in having a career in our client's industry. The next solution is through marketing and advertising. Our client's best form of advertising is through word of mouth because it is a referral-based business. Price Contracting also contracts with LIB Consulting, paying them $1,500 a month to maintain the website and social media, and it costs $5,000 to set up the website. We have suggested the best possible way to reach more customers is to sponsor Little League youth organizations to help establish a relationship in the community and to get our names out there to the community and to put flyers on the church bulletins. We also want to put a magnet decal on the box truck saying Price Contracting and junk removal, and we want to target the students at Temple and Drexel by putting advertisements on the school bulletin board. Another thing we suggested is to set up a Facebook business account, which is free, and post our services on there for customers to reach out.
Our final task that our client has gave us, he had purchased a 12-foot box truck that he uses once or twice a week to pick up materials and throw away trash. To avoid sitting those days, he had us find ways to utilize it. We suggested junk removal, moving services, and Amazon Relay. Amazon Relay is a trucking service Amazon provides for independent truck contractors, and we could bid on contracts to carry loads and deliver them to Amazon facilities. We suggested junk removal services for college students as well, for move in and move out, especially for summertime. Ways we can step in. You got it. Ways we can step into the market are through estate lawyers, flyers, church bulletins, realtors from Berkshire Hathaway, Home Investors, and Keller Williams. Contacting estate lawyers and doing junk removal jobs for them not only pays our client directly for their services, but our client can also sell the valuable things on Facebook or eBay. And so, as you can see here, our financials, our client has shared with us current pay rate for the 3 employees we're looking for. We're looking for a laborer, a carpenter, and a full-time driver for our 12-foot box truck. The pay for the full-time driver will vary day to day, depending on the size of the job. If you look at the personnel section of our business plan, each year our client employees get a raise each year they work with us. Through LIB Consulting Group, we pay $1,500 a month to maintain the Instagram and the website. For the 12-foot magnet decal that would be added, about $72. And then to accelerate our client's business and even more, help him reach his goals, we would need up to $200,000. Here's the contact information if you guys need to take a picture. And then, interesting fact, throughout this whole presentation, all these pictures you guys see here is his work. Any questions?
How old's that truck? How old is that truck?
Our client has had that truck for 1 year now. He bought it off someone in Lancaster, PA. It was an old refrigerating truck. He was told that it was about 10 years old, and then our client added a new gas tank. He does his oil change on it himself, and added new tires and a new radiator for it.
Just a question, because it looks like it is dated, and I'm wondering if you do go into this extra revenue stream like moving or trash removal, truck removal, that it puts added wear and tear on that truck, and then that's a cost that you'll have to incur later.
Yes, so part of the $200,000 we seek is for wear and tear for the truck, and that's what part of it would go towards.
What do you mean by wear and tear? Part of the $200,000.
Like I said, wear and tear. So when you use the car more, it's going to have, you have to get more inspections, more work done because it's, cars just break down. That's part of the $200,000 to keep up with maintenance in case something happens to the truck.
And do you have an expected life of that truck? 5 more years, 10 more years?
We'd say at least 10 more years because, like we said before, our client does work on it himself. He replaced things, replaced the tires, the radiator, so he knows how to replace things and make it work right. So we're hoping for at least 10 more years, but if it comes down to it, he could potentially get another truck, especially if when the business is going well and profitable, he would want to expand the business and get another truck, add another truck to the fleet.
How are you? As a part of the hiring effort task that you were requested to do, I like the intern aspect of that and that suggestion to hopefully, solve some of the personnel needs. But the LinkedIn and the other, basic online database searches, I think that's pretty much everyone's basic go-to, right? Were there any synergies in your other efforts, for instance, the community engagement aspect or the marketing at Temple and Drexel, that you thought about correlating to help streamline that effort? Because obviously there is definitely a lot more to be done in addition to just interns and, databases. How do you view expanding on that?
So thank you for the question. Our client would want to recruit specifically from trade schools, and he mentioned Williamson Trade School because he told us that he doesn't want to just hire someone just to have a job, just to do work. He wants to hire someone who wants a long-term career in the industry and is trustworthy and honest and is working hard. So that's why he said he wants to recruit directly from trade schools to hire someone who wants a career.
Gentlemen, with the trucking business, would there be any requirements for extra insurance cost or anything of that sort?
Yes, sir. As of now, all the insurance and all is paid by the contracting business. If we can start a new a business with just this trucking operation, like how there's 1-800-JUNK, our client is able to make a new corporate LLC, and now and add all the insurance, and hopefully the investment we seek will help cover that for the start. And then once our client makes your investment back, that he can pay you back.
And I saw the emphasis on the sports advertisement to promote little leagues and everything like that. That seemed to be the most expensive one of all the options you provided. What is the return on investment you see there?
So it would cost between $300 and $500 to put a sign on the field around the fence. It cost between $1,200 and $1,500 to sponsor the teams specifically, putting the price contracting name on the jerseys and putting a sign around the field. And we're expecting a return because we're going to reach all of the parents of those Little League teams, whether it's soccer, baseball, football. We're hoping to reach all of the parents out there who might need something done to their house, fixed up, or renovations. So we're expecting a significant return. I can't give you an exact number, but we are expecting a significant return just from reaching all of those clients from the parents from the Little League teams.
Also, so by having the billboard on the home run fence and having our price contract, and this could also help your question, on our business plan, we said join civic groups, join church bulletins. So that's all great recognition and getting into the community, and that could help us. For your question, there's more contractors out there that might not like where they're working now. They build a relationship because our client's business is based off trust and family, because at the end of the day, our client is going to a random person's home, and you have all your valuables. I know from personal experience, my house has been robbed from people working on it. So but with this Little League sign and their kids playing, it just advertises, and then also can attract contractors or carpenters or laborers or painters, just to help us get more clientele and create this family aspect that our client wants.
I love you guys, just presentation, just confidence. So you guys did a really good job with just making me feel comfortable with what you're saying. Question, have you guys looked at any certain databases like Angie's List or anything in order to be able to get some more work or so? Or is he okay with the amount of work that's already been given to him?
Our client hasn't looked at any Angie List or anything. Our client told us his referral-based business keeps them busy for the whole year. They do between 100 and 110 jobs in the year. Their slow time, as in our business plan, is from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, just because holidays are around, people are busy. He said right during those times he has another business that he does to utilize the box truck selling Christmas trees, and a part of it is also known as price contracting side. And he has not, but right now our client takes on 2 jobs max at a time, because he doesn't want to lack quality if you have all these jobs at once, or our client told us a dangerous hole in this business is by having so many jobs at once, our client asks for a 50% deposit up front, and then he carries revenue from previous jobs to pay for materials once the 50% is up. And the danger, he said, is companies keep creating debt and debt to where they can't pay it back. So that's our client says max he wants to take his 3 jobs at a time. Right now he's happy, but he's listened to our suggestions, and he think we can definitely add on 1 job by hiring 1 or 2 more employees just to create a little more revenue.
Yeah, so he can be able to work on the business, not in the business, because
Yes.
if he injures himself, then that's a big issue. Right?
Yes, and like Anthony said, we have a huge referral base for our clientele, and with your investment, we would be able to hire those employees that we previously suggested and take on 20 to 30 more projects a year, because currently he does 100 to 110 projects a year, but increasing that number would bring in more revenue, more profit.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably would put some of that onto a newer truck or so. I don't feel comfortable with that truck. I don't know how many. That truck looks like it has like over 100,000 miles on it. You know, just from eyeballing that. You know what I mean? That's not 10 years old, bro. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm looking at, because I'm seeing something, you know, the downtime between Thanksgiving and New Year's, like if you're already going to be an Amazon contractor, that's the peak time when deliveries are happening. So if you get yourself a reliable truck, that can really help just grow just more income, you know, at that time. So just even really putting some of that money to something that's a little more reliable, I think that can be a much better than just trying to just maintain that thing.
Sir, thank you.
I had a question. So you mentioned that the company can only do about 2 clients at a time. So what is the backlog of company now? And as you reach the community more, as you mentioned, with the Little League signs and sponsoring teams, like how are you going to be able to sustain more business coming in? How are you guys keeping those business? As if I need something done, I would need it now instead of waiting 3 weeks from now, 2 months from now, when you can get me in.
Great question. So that's where the new employees would come in. The more employees we have, the more jobs we can take on and complete within the time frame given to us, and with great quality work. And like we said before, we want to hire honest, hardworking employees who want a long-term career in the industry. So just bringing in more employees would allow us to expand our efforts to more projects.
Yes, my second part is, I think you missed, was how are you capturing that backlog you have now? How do you keep those customers in line as you can only do 2 jobs at a time?
We keep our client keeps those customers in line just by being honest. If our client told us if he doesn't think that he has the time to do it just because he's booked throughout the whole year, basically, he will try to refer you to someone that he knows that will meet your desires. And that just comes with the risk of not having a big company. And our client likes a small fact because it's a home family, and he doesn't want to create too many jobs at once because of the danger of this business that our client said is creating debt and then eventually not being able to pay that back.
A quick question, because I'm actually in development as well. Does this contractor take care of permits for the city where they stay, or is that required from the client?
Yes, sir. So our client is licensed insured, and that's a huge advantage that he has because he works primarily, if you look on our market analysis and our business plan, most of his jobs are in Center City, South Philly, Fishtown, where, parking's terrible. Not a lot of people, our client says, likes to work down there, and it's hard to get permits. He's licensed and insured, which gives him that advantage to contract companies who aren't, because they can't take on those jobs. So if you want an addition added to your house, you have to get a permit for that. So that's definitely a way we think our client should advertise, especially on his website, saying licensed insured. And, for people that don't know about what that means, you can explain it there to make the customer feel more safe, know their money's in the right hands, and it's not going to have the risk of, I'm paying someone to redo my bathroom. They did it illegally because they didn't have license or permits.
Those rates, those daily rates for those laborers and carpenters, is that the union rate?
That's what, that's what he pays them per day.
So, yes,
I don't believe, we don't know.
it's a
we don't
union
believe-
shop? Philadelphia's a union shop?
He's not, no, sorry, he's not part of the union. This is just the rates that he told us, the financials that he shared with us for our project. And he just said these are starting rates. And then each year his client or his employees will receive a raise.
And then the 200,000, what percent of that 200,000 is salaries or expected salaries? Is that the bulk of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruben Pichardo.
My name is PJ Schulte.
My name is Brian Perez.
Hi, my name is Zach Ahmed, and we are with Moji Masala. Moji Masala is a small family-oriented business that's focused on Indian cuisine. It's based out of PA, also in New York as well. Moji Masala is an Indian spice company with the goal to make authentic Indian dishes easy to make as well. They have 14 spices for multiple different dishes. Some of them can also be mixed as well with each other to make another dish. So it's kind of easy to access. It doesn't take very long to make them, and it's good for a family meal. Our mission statement was to create a strong social media presence, reaching more audience, empowering home cooks, also as food enthusiasts, to explore the vibrant world of Indian cuisine with confidence. Create short, engaging cooking tutorials, demonstrating the quick and easy recipes for Moji Masala. Jump on the food-related trends, incorporating Moji Masala into popular social media challenges, also hashtags.
Good morning, judges. Going into our industry analysis, Moji Masala can be categorized as a food and beverage industry. They have a handful of factors that can lead into their success, like their understanding the market, strategic planning, financial management, and marketing and sales. And the alternative factors that would affect the business is L&I and Department of Health and Administration, if they change the regulations, or the expectations for the distributors. Their business opportunity locations, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania have some of the highest Indian Americans in the United States. This presents a significant opportunity for Moji Masala to expand its customer base and establish a strong foothold in the market.
Some of the recommendations that we have for them going forward are to make their social medias and website more user-friendly. So redoing the Instagram and redoing their own website, color coding all of their different recipes, and then moving forward, making more social media videos, mainly TikTok, and finding the hashtags that work best for them. The other recommendations that we have are working towards getting into small markets and grocery stores and finding a way to make the people who find our products online, make it easier for them to go get our product in store. We are asking for a $20,000 loan for our clients. We did this by figuring out that we want to do 1 million views on TikTok, and we priced that out, so we have a $10,000 marketing budget through TikTok, and then we also have a $10,000 budget to find our way into 20 local grocery stores.
The future ideas for Moji Masala are giving the products a clear and short explanation in the boxes of how to use it. Another idea is to include food made with Moji Masala in the boxing process. That way it can catch the people's attention and they can consider buying it. Looking at these pictures, you can see how the competition, Kitchen of Finland, has quality photos in the front of the unboxing, in the package. And they also have the process of how to make it in the back. Joining Facebook groups to be able to post your posts and reach different types of audience. Some of these groups are India Food Junction Recipes, India Food Lovers, Delicious Food and Recipes, and Soul Food Recipes.
So next we have curated a TikTok video that we actually posted for our client. But before we start that, I also want to give a shout out to them. They are going to be on FOI on Channel 6 this Saturday at 7:30. So if you guys want to tune in, they're going to be doing a live demo on the news channel. So, and for that, here's the TikTok. It's not playing. This thing not working.
Professor, is there any way we can get out one? It's hot. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm not good at TikTok. So. A night cooking with college kids. Cooking with Moji Masala. First, add your olive oil.
How do I get this full screen? Oh, jeez.
A night cooking with college kids. Cooking with Moji Masala. First, add your olive oil. Next, add the tomato paste. Sorry, it was a little rough getting out of the cup. Next, add your Moji Masala spices. Next, you want to mix it all together and make that nice marinade. Clean your chicken and put your chicken in the marinade. It smells so good. You're going to want to add about 2 pounds of chicken here for this recipe. Next, you want to mix that chicken all the way up, get it nice and lathered in that marinade. Get it all nice and flavorful. Marinate for about 12 hours and then put it on your baking sheet. Next, you want to put it in the oven for about 50 minutes at 400 degrees. Then, after 50 minutes, you want to take it out of the oven. Nice and careful, don't burn yourself now. And wow, look at that smoky goodness. Comes out so nice, so fresh. Moji Masala tandoori chicken. It's so good. Go try it yourself.
Thank you.
In your report, let me start here. In the written report, you were looking for 44,000. Today, you're asking for 40,000.
20. Yes. So in our report, we were giving the basic financials. We didn't actually get financials from the company itself. In our report, we were doing estimates on years 1 through 5. And then when we went back and we focused on what is our immediate goal, we said that $20,000 should be able to get us to where we want to be marketing it the best way that we can.
What's changed, though, from here to there?
It was, I'll be completely honest with you, it was a lot of miscommunication between us and what we needed to be doing for the business plan. And when we focused on the business plan itself, which we did before the presentation, we were looking at it from more of a broad perspective. And then we talked it over after we submitted the business plan. And we basically said to each other that we need to focus more on what our task is and what we are doing for our clients. So that's why we changed it to 20,000.
Also, to further back on that, so originally our goal, we wanted to talk to our client, get him into bigger supermarkets as Acme, Whole Foods, and then he stopped us there. So according to him, our client, he went to Whole Foods, tried to get a section of Whole Foods. They wanted about $10,000 for him to buy the slot. They wanted 5 free deliveries and they wanted free product. So that $44,000 was an estimate towards that. But once he told us that, we were kind of like, well, that's a little bit out of the budget because that's taking about a fourth of our budget right there. So we lowered the prices down to look at smaller markets and more local and more towards their market base.
Did you break down the cost of goods? Do you know how much it costs to make that packet? How much does he sell it for?
So one packet is $10 and it'll give you a serving size of a whole family, so 4 to 6 adults plus children.
So the retail value is 10.
Yeah,
What
for
does
the packet.
it cost for him to produce that packet?
Produce it? Well, they make it themselves. They blend the spices and everything like that themselves. They've been doing this for about 3 years. Our client's wife actually does it herself. And then the packet cost for the actual sealing is maybe around $2, I would say.
Okay.
Question on the investment. Any of that recurring? Any of those dollars recurring, not just one-time costs?
Yes, for sure. So when we say that we want to get to, for instance, 1 million views on TikTok, we're not going to unload $10,000 onto one influencer and just put all our eggs in one basket. It's going to be divvied up and do a lot of research into who are the right influencers to help Moji Masala grow, because it's not an exact science, and we would want to look into Indian American influencers and people who are in the food space already to help us with our product as much as possible.
My question, though, is on that investment, is it a one-time cost, or is it something that you're going to pay every year for?
It'll probably be a yearly cost, yeah, because hopefully after the first investment, the initial investment, it pays off and continues to work. And then as we grow, we will continue to put that money back into the marketing.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Gentlemen, you mentioned that it's produced by your client. So what is the volume that they may be able to produce in a month or a year?
The volume you said?
Mm-hmm.
So
How many packets?
how many packets for a year? I would say we could produce about 10,000 packets.
A year?
Yeah, because like I said before, it's pretty cheap to make them. It is a family-owned business, but when it comes to the packets, all the spices are sort of similar. They sort of use the same ingredients, but each different one is for a different food product. So if you mass produce the spices, you put them in all the packets, we can produce about that much.
And is it sold right now online? Or is it sold right now online?
Yes, you can go on their website as well. That's another thing. We were trying to make it more family-oriented. So when you go on their website, they don't really have the demos on there. You have to click the QR code on the back of the packet, and that'll take you to their website as well, and it'll also take you to a demo to make that exact recipe.
How you doing, guys? Question about the TikTok and your decision-making process analysis internally for yourselves on how you wanted to put this together and present it. I think we've all seen a TikTok, and it has a very unique, feel and flow to it, form, if you will. Usually pretty quick. They have a ton of either clips or segments or different, specific social media filters, or be able to clip things together differently. And when I viewed that, it didn't really seem like a typical TikTok that people are going to gravitate towards, and it might have been a little too long. So those are my just comments on the TikTok, but more to how you came to that design form and length as your presentation.
So one thing starting out with this is that this was all of our first time doing TikTok. So it was a lot of learning on the fly and learning as we go. And I believe that you're completely right. I think there's a lot of downtime in that video. And it's something that we're going to continue to work towards, because this isn't just a project for us. We're going to continue to work with our client past this, and we'll always support Moji Masala. So we will work towards finding the right way to make the TikTok. The biggest thing is for us, and what our client has always suggested, is that we show the cooking process. So what we need to do at this point is to show the cooking process, but do it quicker and grab the attention quicker.
Couple questions. Are there other flavors than these two, right?
Yeah, as I said earlier, we have 14 different spices.
14, okay.
14.
Are the price, can the pricing, do they do pricing with bulk? So say bulk orders?
Yes. So you can, on the website, there's bulk orders for about $15 for a different 3 packets. So like I said earlier, you can mix and match the spices to make different dishes. So there's packets ordered for like a gift box. There's also like bundle orders as well. And that's all on the website.
So for 1 packet it's $10, but for 3 packets it's $15.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you the discount if you buy in bulk.
Okay, when it's scaled, do we feel that might be a little nightmarish?
When you're talking about bigger orders than that?
Yeah.
It could in a sense, but the thing is, when it comes to the bundles, it's 3 in a bundle, so you'd have to buy it by the 3s as of right now, before we go on a larger scale.
Okay.
So we haven't quite got to the bigger scales yet, but as of right now, if you want to buy in bulk, you got to buy by the 3s or individual packets altogether.
So since it's being made by them, and say if they're trying to put it in like an Acme, I'm pretty sure they might have to get past the FDA or so. Is that something that they're ready for?
Yeah, so this isn't our client's only business, so he's done this before. But the thing is, like we said earlier, going into the Whole Foods, they wanted too much from us. So we were looking more towards the smaller markets because it's, for right now, what our business is looking like, it's a lot easier.
So he has other products that's been approved by the FDA. So he knows the process of that. Okay. All right.
Gentlemen, so I'm sorry, I'm stuck on that they still produce the content, the product themselves. So what is their plan to scale? So say this Saturday is a huge success, they get a lot of orders. What is their plan to go outside of them producing them themselves, and what might be the cost of that?
So we haven't gotten totally into all of that with them, but from what we can gather from our conversations with them is that they will grow in size as they get larger on social media and they get larger orders. So they will hire employees, they'll get into factories and mass produce their products to a better sense.
So where are they making it now? Just at their home?
Yeah,
or?
you make it at home, correct? Or? Yeah, okay, commercial facilities,
Okay.
so yeah.
All right, that's good. All right. And so right now, the only person that knows how to make it is your wife, right?
No, well. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is originally his wife's recipes.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. I want to make sure that you say if like she gets sick or something, and then like you have a big order, it's still going to be able to be.
Yeah, it definitely will be able to be met. So they're the main ones that make it. They do have other consultants that come in and that know it, and the recipes are written down. So say if she was to get sick, somebody could just look at the recipe and follow the steps and they'll be able to make it themselves.
Jim, and is this the only style of packet, or does it come like in a bottle? Like this is only one-time use, correct?
Yeah, one-time use.
So does it like a bottle, so like you could use it multiple times, have it in your cupboard?
So no, each packet is one-time use. It gives you the exact increment on the back of how many, and it's basically like a one-time dinner. So if you want to make easy, authentic Indian food for one night with your family, you use that one packet and that would feed your whole family.
I really like this packaging. It's really good. I took a picture of it because I'm gonna send my wife because we eat Indian food like at least twice a month. So, but I was a little disappointed on just again. Now I understand for the TikTok piece. I'm like, okay, I have this. I'm picturing like, okay, I want to get like a chicken tikka marsala. All right, how do I do that? And I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get it. So I'm thinking, I definitely feel like that the TikTok piece with individuals who maybe even have a culinary background in this and just really authentic, so they can really see how amazing this this product can make the food.
Yeah, so that's what I'm not gonna lie. This was all, like you said, it was our first time, so I did learn that TikTok is a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
But
he said it's gonna go viral. I'm just gonna
yeah,
make some
you
chicken.
think it'd be easy, but it was a little bit harder. So that's why we were talking about working with influencers, as our company's done before. Our client worked with an influencer, And the problem with that is they made the video look nice, but it didn't necessarily bring revenue back. So it was kind of a waste of money and a waste of an investment on our client.
So you said they already talked with they already worked with an influencer.
Yes, we
already?
have our clients worked with multiple influencers in the past, and it didn't really give them the exact revenue back end that they wanted.
Now, were they micro influencers or were they like?
They were sort of in the middle. They weren't. I wouldn't necessarily say they had like millions of followers, but they were around like $100,000, and it still didn't bring them much revenue on the back end.
Mm-hmm. So even just rule of thumb, even next time, making sure data is going to be very king. It's going to be king for any of these types of marketing strategies. So any influencer you guys bring in, you have to make sure the target population is going to be who you're looking for,
Exactly.
as well as just their impression to viewership is going to be a lot more balanced. So they're not going to have like 100,000 followers, but then their impressions are just trash, and then people's videos aren't even really, they're not really looking through their videos that much. So it's gonna be really about that data collection. So maybe even partnering with like just like a company that can be able to help with that, connecting with the right type of influencers. So instead of doing it yourself, they have marketing companies that can be able to do that, especially nowadays with NIL and all that stuff. So there's marketing companies everywhere that'll help you get your product to the right people.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate on the competition? You did touch upon it in the written form where you talked about the pasta company and the sauce company. I would love to hear more. Like I think of other competition, but
Yeah. So I don't firmly believe that our client's biggest competition is other Indian spice blend companies, because nobody is doing it like them. Nobody has the packets. It's more individual spices that you all have to put together. So what we looked at are other companies that have a similar product in that sense, where you can make one quick meal from what they deliver, and also how they are marketing themselves now. So I believe that our product is superior to other Indian spice blends out there. So I wouldn't see them as direct competition.
Everybody's your competition, remember that.
Question on reaching direct, you're basically going direct to consumers. Has there been any consideration going through businesses like a HelloFresh, for instance, where you're just providing them packets and then as they're ordered, they pop in the box and that's reaching these consumers indirectly?
So say that again.
Partnering with somebody like HelloFresh, right? These are kits you order, you make it at home, and really it's just the meal you ordered has this packet, pop it in the box. HelloFresh would all do that, and you can just sell to HelloFresh.
So we never really thought of HelloFresh. Honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. So I definitely take that into consideration. We also have looked into bigger markets where it's not just straight directly to consumer. We have other people outsourcing. But then again, that's why we're kind of asking for the investment so we can look into those type of markets.
I'm just going to add a comment real quick as an expansion of what we've been talking about. When we were talking about like the how to make it and put it together and the TikTok and it being helpful and useful, so my thought was, hey, they need a QR code on the back with that video, and lo and behold, it has a QR code on the back with a video. And the actual video kind of looks a little bit closer to the form and format of a TikTok. Maybe suggests, actually uploading that to TikTok. And then the key effort really would be the algorithm, the hashtags, the concentration to the specific audience. And maybe that might be more of a useful, active role in trying to capture that segment. Yeah.
Are you guys looking to utilize this to kind of do like an update on the website or so? Because I think a lot more can be done with this website. The packaging, I was disappointed in the website because it doesn't match the packaging. So this is a beautiful packaging. Put some money in for a really good website, and it's just going to get people to really want to buy more of these things.
Yeah, totally agree, for sure.
Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Lane. This is Mia Caparelli, Noah Cutting, and Jao Sosa. We have worked with our client, Mateen's Cafe. Mateen's Cafe is a French coffee parlor located in the heart of Chestnut Hill. specializing in crafted pastries, brewed coffees, and well-prepared brunch meals. This reflects a commitment to the quality and authenticity of the French Parisian aesthetic. This cafe gives a warm and inviting atmosphere as it serves as a gathering place for friends, colleagues, and families. They are looking for a way to step their business up to the next level. Their goal is to immerse customers in the rich flavors and timeless elegance of the French cafe. Mainly what we want to do for them is give them a business plan and locate more people in the local area for them. As they are in the heart of Chestnut Hill, they are kind of at the end of the stick. If you kind of know where Chestnut Hill is when you get in the cobblestone, kind of near like Iron Hill, Chestnut Hill Brewing Company, they're at the end of the line right there. So we really want to put advertising all the way down there and let students know. A lot of Chestnut Hill students didn't even know about Mateen's until we started working with them. So we're really excited to do their business plan and promote and advertise for them. A little background on Mateen's. It's actually a really beautiful story with them. We have Amanda today here with us, and we have her husband, Arthur. They are from Paris, but originally from Brittany, France, and his family is still living in the chateau since the 11th century, which is really cool. Amanda grew up in Paris with a French father from Lyon and mother from New York. Arthur and Amanda moved to the United States in 2014, where they owned and operated an award-winning cafe owned in Savannah, Georgia. Their partnership with the cafe is very successful, but looking to take it to the next level. Another thing with, I guess, down south cafes that they have a brother and a couple other siblings that own cafes, one located in Jacksonville, Florida. This one is very successful for their family, and we have a little bit of sibling rivalry. So we really want to, I guess, make Amanda beat her brother in that sense. And we really want to increase revenue for them and, make her the best sister for the DeBrooks.
Okay, so the industry analysis here. So coffee industry has rapidly been growing over the years. And the numbers you can see are a total of 343 billion in 2022, which is a 52% increase from 2015. The global coffee consumption has an annual growth of 2%. So with that, customers spend around 110 billion on coffee in 2022. And yes, so coffee industry is responsible for over 2.2 million jobs in the US alone, which is a very large amount. And we believe this growth is due to seasonal coffees, more recently like Halloween, like the monthly coffees and stuff, and the environment of cafes being very relaxing and more of like a social hub, especially for students to do homework in and things. So the food and pricing, this is more Martins specific. So the coffees, lattes, and teas are far less expensive than Starbucks, one of its competitors. And well, we've all been there since doing this project, and we can all safely say that the food is absolutely fantastic here. And you can see in the top left photo, this is a photo taken by one of us, and you can see the presentation of the food is amazing and very aesthetic. Also, with the food is served to you, and being compared to Starbucks or Dunkin', some of their competitors, where you have to order the food and then you have to go up and collect the food. So this is very beneficial to them.
Okay, so the target market, obviously, for coffee and tea drinkers is huge. I'd be willing to bet about 95% of people in here either like coffee or tea. We kind of narrowed it to, say, 18 years and older, but I know some high school students enjoy coffee as well. The target market around here, we'd say a mom needing an afternoon pick-me-up, maybe college students looking for a quiet place to get work done, or older folks looking for a relaxing spot on a Sunday morning. Obviously, the target market is going to be different between Chestnut Hill and their new location that they're opening in Wayne. So Chestnut Hill has an older crowd, so we said that it's more of like an old money type of thing, whereas Mainline's younger, a lot more family-oriented, and there's more high school-aged kids. Although this is true, they still have the same type of spending habits, and they're both very wealthy areas. Aside from that, we had brought up her attention to a Manayunk location, being that it's such a hot spot. Age bracket there is usually between 20s to 40s. Definitely less wealthy, but people are still very willing to spend money, and I think it'd be a great spot because in all of these locations, it's one of the only like authentic cafes, like little food spots and coffee spots. So being that they're moving to the main line, we think that social media will be their greatest form of advertising. They have a social media manager, which Amanda just informed us that they moved her to a full-time marketing manager position because of our business plan that we had made for them. So their Instagram does well. They are absolutely crushing it. They have a TikTok that they're just starting up. Also in the mainline area, we think that Facebook groups would be a good outreach to get people to come in. And they also use local influencers.
So regarding local influencers, we had an idea to our client, which is there's a French player that played on Philadelphia Union, Sebastien Letoux, and right now he's a broadcaster for Apple TV, which has a great number of viewers. So if we manage to, well, he's French, he's from Philadelphia. If he goes to restaurant, likes the products, that could be a way of taking the business to the next level. So regarding the competition, we believe that in the US, Starbucks and Dunkin' are taking over the market. They have a 66% overall of the coffees in the US. And we have been, personally, I go to Dunkin' every single morning, so I know what they offer and what our place offers. The coffee takes exactly the same time coming in. The food, it's, well, better made, honestly. And they are competing with them not only on locations, but Uber Eats, DoorDash, even on supermarkets like Giant. Giant offers Starbucks and Dunkin' products as well. So we're not only competing against them on the location, but also outside the location. And financial viability costs, these are the startup costs usually for a coffee, all those prices. But what we wanted to make sure to emphasize is that they have a deal with La Colombe. So all the prices that you see there, the coffee beans will be cheaper. La Colombe offers them with installment costs and repairments. So all those prices will be lower. And then you have all the other expenses like business license, FDA, payroll, and taxes.
As I think our PowerPoint was so much shorter than everyone else's, we were going to go over the revenue and income of Mateen's that had a lot of merchandise that was really good extra revenue. My favorite personally would be their hair care products, as they come from France. Also, we had decisions and recommendations that we did for them throughout our business plan and future plans. Like I said, ours is getting cut short, which is unfortunate, but if you guys have any questions, we'd love to answer them for you.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. So it sounds like you came up with a lot of great strategies to expand and to increase marketing and hopefully increase revenue. At the very beginning, I wasn't quite sure what the initial goal was, aside from the increasing advertising and increased revenue. Were you given a direct directive to say, okay, these are the specific things that I want you to focus on? Or did you take it amongst yourselves to say, okay, how can we focus on the broader swath of things to identify those key areas?
Yeah, so the subject of the project that we understood from when we entered our senior seminar is go into a Chestnut Hill company and see what we can do for them. Mateen's is already very successful when we got into it with them. So we met face-to-face with them on a lunch, which was very nice. They gave us free meals and coffee, and that picture that you saw up there of the food, that's what we ate that day. And we kind of just went over with Amanda and Arthur what they needed to take it up to the next level, which was they did not have a business plan at the time. So I thought that was very important to have, especially moving on to creating other companies and more like chains and branches as they're doing for the main line. And we even recommended going into Manayunk, which we thought was a really good idea. So yeah, we kind of just talked with them about, you know, what are you lacking? What parts of your brand is not reaching people in the Chestnut Hill area? And then like, let's see how we can go a step further for the main line. As you can hear, we have some accents going around. So we have an international base, and then me and Mia are actually local here. So we had some insight for the main line and what the differences are from them in Chestnut Hill. So yeah, we took upon their brand, their advertising, what we could take it up a step notch. We actually handed out flyers around our school to advertise for them, and then in return we got a 10% discount for Chestnut Hill students, which was nice. And yeah, we are advertising Devon Horse Race Show, Mainline Today, Facebook group chats, the Mainline group chat, if anyone knows that one. It's a really big one on Facebook.
I think it's also worth mentioning that they already work with the CPA, and some of the financial costs you are going to see there, we asked to remain confidential. We can actually touch on the projections we made for next year based on simply the data we had from last year. But yeah, they are overall a very complete business, and especially in accounting, they have someone taking care of them.
Very successful.
I love the concept. Question: When do you guys open? When do you guys close? That's the first question I have.
Yeah, so it is 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Mateens is really good with their hours because they're open for all holidays, which is awesome. I think their competitors like Starbucks maybe, Dunkin' maybe not so much. They are open on Christmas, Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Are they thinking about maybe open a little bit earlier as well, just to get some people who need the coffee?
Yes, we've actually.
8. Okay.
8. Sorry about that. 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 8. All
Yeah.
right. Do you guys have any events like book readings, poetry nights, or anything like that to kind of get a nice vibe of the crowd?
So one of our recommendations that we would have for Mateens is, you know, doing study nights. You're around Chestnut Hill College, which is 10 minutes away from us, so we obviously want to promote that for them, and that also comes with advertising, is promoting, you know, study nights. Mateens is a place where you want a lot of foot traffic coming in and coming out, but not staying for too long, as you want to keep it going with the revenue, and you want to, you know, keep accelerating the population. It is a more condensed cafe shop, so you can't really have too many people in there at once.
I thought you guys said it was a kind of a laid-back type of situation.
Yes, it's very laid back. It's very, if you look at our floor plan in there, it has some pictures in there. It's very laid back. You can chill, but I wouldn't recommend staying for more than like 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-hour wait time. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
So just to touch on that a little bit, I noticed that, yeah, the seating looks like about 20 to 25 max. And I'm just wondering how the turnover is not really expected to be very quick. You said 2 hours, right? How do you expect to make, say, you know, especially with students typically are there not to spend a lot of money. The average transaction is probably around $20, $25, not 40 to 50, which is what you probably would want out of those tables for that long of a duration. So how do you decide, how do you intend to make, you know, to generate that revenue with that expected atmosphere of relax, you know, no rush?
So Mateens also has an outside seating area, which is very beneficial for them. We ate out there. They have heaters. They make it very cozy out there. They have a tent in the winter with to like really make it warm in there. So having that outside adds in another, you know, 20 people. So that really helps with revenue. Also, you're getting tableside food, which is good. So you're getting it delivered to you. So, you know, you're not just sitting there having a coffee like you would at Starbucks, you know, or a little bit of a, you know, turkey, bacon, egg white. You know, you're getting a crepe, you're getting a waffle with, you know, cream strawberries. You're getting these gourmet meals that make you want to spend more, you know, and you're so close in tables. You're like, oh, what's that person having over there? That looks good. I want to order that, you know? So if you are there for more than an hour at a time, you could get hungry. You're going to be ordering more than a coffee, and that kind of generates more revenue.
So that's my follow-up to that then is why did you decide that Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are the competitors for Mateens?
So we have more competitors like Muhammad or
Maman.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a great cafe. It's like honestly a duplicate of, you know, Mateens almost, but they're going off of French, and I think Maman is a Canadian, I think we said, that they are. So I think Starbucks and Dunkin' were doing their competitors, but we're doing price point with coffees. With coffee pricing, it is so much more less to spend for a coffee than it is at Starbucks. I mean, I saw you had a coffee at Starbucks today, and I was going to ask you, how much did you pay for that? I usually spend around $7 for my coffee, almost $8 if you're getting an extra espresso shot. So doing those price points is very important. Dunkin's more of a fast food coffee chain, so you're not getting the authentic food, but you're getting a really sugary drink where it's still coffee. It all kind of just like goes back to target market and what you like and what quality of coffee that you're looking for.
And also the timing. Matins, a coffee, you order a coffee, within 3-4 minutes you have the coffee in your hands, which is exactly the time that it's going to take at the Starbucks or Dunkin'. And even foods. I usually, when I go there, I get a big crab. It takes 5 minutes to have it on the table. And when I go to Dunkin' and I get a ham and Swiss croissant, it takes me 4 or 5 minutes as well. Doesn't matter how many tables they have the staff that will get you the food ready as soon as possible, and it's very fast.
I wanted to ask, I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it in the rating, but is there a loyalty program with the cafe?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is actually something that we wanted to advertise towards Matins as well. Like I said, I go to Starbucks quite often, as everyone else does. They do the Starbucks stars on their app. So what we kind of wanted to recommend to Amanda and Arthur is doing a loyalty points where, Matins could have, flower points or something like that, since they're very daisy-like. So they could do that, and then with that, how many stars that you get, they can even compete with, I think Starbucks, it's 200 stars and you have to get a free drink. For Matins, you could do even lower than that, 100 stars, and you get, a free latte, a free croissant, a muffin, anything like that. So I think that would help bring in their customers, especially for Chestnut Hill students that are looking for more of loyalty points.
You mentioned that, is it an app?
Oh, we were, yeah, so like I said, they or as Mia said, they hired a marketing manager. So we're gonna produce all these ideas to her. Obviously, us being just Chestnut Hill College students, we can't really, make up an app ourselves, but we will definitely make recommendations to them about
That's
the
a
app.
great idea. And then is there a possibility to order, obviously there's not an app yet, but over the phone, or will there be the possibility to order over the app to make
Yes.
time more efficient?
Yeah, we also said some competitors that we do have are also the app chains, such as Uber Eats and DoorDash. Obviously, through those apps, you can get Starbucks, Dunkin', and I'm going to pronounce it wrong again, Maman, and you can get food delivered. Matins does not have that, so through that app, we wanted to purchase, maybe looking into a delivery driver if they do have that, or even investing into some of those apps and getting on those social media brands for them.
You touched on influencers. Anything about reviews, what the stars are on Yelp or Google? Any ideas around like Yelp Elites program, something to increase reviews, people in the area know?
Do you want to talk about this one?
Reviews, not aware of the number or how it would rank, but there is one video that went very viral. They had 400,000 views. No, 400,000 views, sorry. And he was an influencer. She had 8,000 followers, but the video was very well made. And even to my mother-in-law in West Reading, she saw that video. And then she sent me that saying, oh, I really like this coffee. So we are sure that, and already, if you go to their Instagram page, if you see the videos, the first time I saw, I was very impressed because the food looks phenomenal. They already have a good fan base, but yeah, they just need to, honestly, try to get more awareness, as we say. If we get this Apple TV broadcaster or someone saying the name on a Philadelphia channel, we are sure that the success will just even come to them.
Hi. I tend to agree a little bit with my judge colleague over here about the maybe disconnect in the competition segment of Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts being a direct competitor. Did you do any deeper dive to try to more closely define that direct competitor segment, whether it be like even the Chestnut Hill Coffee Company that's right there, or a more restaurant forward-focused cafe like Sabrina's Cafe?
Yeah, so obviously unfortunately our PowerPoint got cut short, but in our competitors in our pamphlet that you guys have there, we actually have those same competitors, the Chestnut Hill Brewing Company. Dutch Bros is not even, I think, located on the East Coast, but could be a competitor over on the other coast. You know, their direct competitors are, you know, coffee, who everyone wants to just go in, get a quick coffee. I think that's a lot of our target market is, you know, who's looking in to get in there, get a quick coffee, maybe a quick breakfast and get out. And that's what we're going for competition. Like Joe has said, with Dunkin', you go in there, you get probably half the quality of food in the same amount of time, but in Mateen's you get way better quality of food just in the fast of time. Get a latte that is not as much as Starbucks. Maybe those are more indirect competition if you want to go that route than such places like oh my God, it's so hard to pronounce. Yeah, those places. Also indirect competition like McNally's, El Limon, all those places where you can get like quick food. But other than that, the competition is mainly just cafes. I know where I live in Havertown, PA, about 30 minutes from here. There's called House Cup Cafe. Those beans bring in people, the coffee beans, because it comes from Nigeria. A lot of people love those beans and they love the coffee, and that's what brings it in for them. What we wanted to establish with Mateen's is getting them beans, but they obviously have a partnership with La Colombe that gives them trained baristas and equipment. So we thought that was more of a negative to change beans and a positive. But mainly those are just a coffee shop, so we think a really good competition for them.
You have a very thorough report here. In fact, it may be too thorough.
So I sometimes overdo it, I'm not gonna lie, but we all do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody needs to know about pennies, you know, in terms of your fixed cost. You know, it's close enough, you know, it's what you need to do. But I'm going to ask you the same question I asked one of the other groups. Yours was the last report submitted. Why?
Our report was not the last submitted. I'm sorry for that missed fact, but that's not. No.
But it wasn't the last?
No.
This was the last one, I think. Huh? I think it was the last one I received. But,
I don't think it was the last one we received.
okay, but it was late. Okay. So, I mean, in the real world, again, that can create a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you resolve that so it doesn't happen again?
So a lot of us have dealt with internships already. We've been in the real world. We're about to go in the real world. Obviously, you need to think about structure. You're not going to be at a company that has bad organization and misstructure. A lot of what you can argue of this senior seminar. So if that was the last report that you got, that's not on us. We didn't hand you the report. We handed our report on time with not any late penalty points. So yeah, that's all I have to say to that question.
So it sounds like Mateen's is speedy, but not quick or fast. You don't want to be that because you want that atmosphere to kind of come through. And yet what I'm hearing is there's a shift or desire to move to being fast, much like I don't want to say a Dunkin' because again, I don't think that's a competitor, but why? I feel like you're going for atmosphere, experience even, and I think you'd probably lose something by speeding up the process. What are your thoughts on that?
So as you can see up here, they hope to one day become a franchise. So I think that being said, eventually it might get to a point where it will be that quick environment, but also I think that they really tend to like whatever the customer's needs are. Like if you want to go in there and you want to sit down, then you can. If you want to go in and just grab a quick coffee, then you also can do that. You know what I mean? So like it's definitely tending to their customers, but also at the same time, like thinking about the fact that at some point they may become a franchise and that may change a bit of the atmosphere around.
Okay, so you're saying the customers will dictate the atmosphere, basically.
I mean, yeah. So like on a day-to-day basis, like you're not gonna have somebody that wants to come in and sit for 2 hours. Like every customer is not gonna come in and want to sit there and like hang out there for a while. Like people will come in just to grab a coffee and then just to leave.
On that, what percent, and you probably don't know this, but what percent is to go, kind of like step up, order, leave, and then what percent of volume is sit down? If you had to guess.
Go ahead.
So in our sales, that was one of the recommendations we put. They have the gross sales, but we don't know in detail what is takeout and what is in place. So that's one of the recommendations we put to our clients. So as you can say, we can know for sure what is what. But getting back to your other question, I think that's one of our fears with this is their quick expansion if they don't hire appropriate managers. As you say, the essence of the place, I think it's going to vanish. Not vanish, but they need to make sure to hire a good manager, because doing an expansion, if you don't have someone that you trust and has the culture of the place, then the more you open, the least you'll be like the original. Just getting back to your other question.
And last but not least, I just want to kind of know where we're getting up on time. I just want to let everybody know, just for presentations, you always got to understand the power of the pivot. I know there's always a plan that we have when we're presenting, but there's always going to be something that's going to change. We shouldn't know that, you know. So in the back of our heads, if something does change, whether it's time or anything, we change it right in here, because that can mess up because this is a presentation. So this is just good constructive criticism for everybody out here who are going to be pitching to VCs or anybody else, any opportunities. If it's showing for us that the vibe is off, that it doesn't matter what's said in here. It's about what you guys are presenting. So this is going to be a helpful, teachable moment for whenever, you know, there's going to be, when you're pitching with VCs, there's some VCs that they're going to want to talk with you for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. And you have to make sure that you provide that whole quality. You can have a whole plan in your head, but you might have to just give them that quality coffee, that small amount right there to be like, okay, I'm sold because I like this person. So just understand as you guys leave from here, continue going to the real world and continue to grow however you guys need be. Understand adjustment and pivoting is going to be the key for your success.
Good afternoon. We'd like to start off by thanking our panel of judges and our business owner for coming out today and taking time out of their Fridays and also preparing for today. So thank you, and we appreciate that very much. We chose to work with Montcole Construction. It is a family-owned and operated business out of Andorra, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly. And we saw a good fit with this company because, well, Montana and I personally know the business owner, which we thought we could help in ways that were not invasive. There was a strong point for us to help where we should help. We didn't want to get involved in areas that we shouldn't. We didn't want to change the company. We wanted to help the company. So we thought we found a good fit with Montcole Construction, and we went forward with it. So, our industry analysis. The industry is obviously in construction and remodeling and home improvement. And what our business specializes in is custom work. And we wanted to emphasize that because not everybody does. Sometimes they put in pre-made cabinets and they put in, bath fitter type solutions, and our company doesn't do that. We work with the companies to figure out what they want and how we can help them achieve that.
So there's a few like very key things like with being in this industry, particularly construction, and that's like the dangers of this industry. So there's about 9 different regulations. I think there might be 10. I might have missed it, but with OSHA, and they are. First is going to be like fall protection, which means the employer must provide like the equipment for it. Scaffolding regulations, which are going to be like the putting up and taking down. They need to be secured and everything needs to be correct because, you know, the incident of an accident. Excavation regulations, which are just going to be typically just going to be your safety measures, your electrical standards. Pretty much throughout all construction, there's like a specific standard for electric, protective personal equipment, like hard hats, stuff like that. Hard hats or gloves, depending on what like the project is or what the company does. Hazard communication, which must be standardized throughout every single construction company. Like they need to have the ability to pretty much like tell the people that there's a hazard and like just the way to avoid said hazard. Fire protection standards, the fire safety methods are like required. They need fire suppression, stuff like that. Power tools and machinery, just regulations for use, not goofing off with it on site. And noise exposure, which is going to be like ear protection, especially like in places where they're going to be drilling or using like a jackhammer, stuff like that. And then also, as a limited liability company, the owner and the employees do not take liability for the debts of the business.
Montcole Construction specializes in home remodels such as bathrooms, kitchens, additions, and custom room conversions. The company understands that homeowners save up and take a lot of time planning these renovations, so they pride themselves on being the ones who can make it happen. And then Montcole Construction is an LLC, meaning that our business owner is the sole manager. He meets with every customer personally to turn their ideas into reality. And he also often utilizes subcontractors for electrical work, plumbing, custom cabinets, roofing, and siding.
So with our operating procedure and communications with our subcontractors, we are a remodeling company. However, we want experts that do have their minds in certain fields. So we do hire outside of us, as in electricians, plumbers, and with that being said, we are allowed to really make our customers' dreams come true, to fully have them be happy at the end of one of our jobs. So, like I said up there, it really helps us put our best product forward with the subcontractors, which helps us and our customers. So then our marketing procedure right now, we are very mouth to mouth, ear to ear. In that sense, we do not really have an online presence at the moment, but we have recently made an Instagram showing before and afters of projects, remodels, in all that sense. We are looking into getting more in on the online space, such as Nextdoor, to help put our name out there more. And our customers have left good reviews for us in the past, which helps us with the online space.
So our competition, one like big, or they're not necessarily a direct competitor with us. It's going to be the Tracy Brothers in Manayunk. It's a general contracting service that do both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They do full custom home builds, like from foundation up to everything's built. The home renovations, plumbing and electric and HVAC, and they employ over 45 different people, and they've been in the business for 10 years. And also, I was reading on this company, they also have like government contracts to build like government buildings as well. And that's going to be like a indirect competitor, just because they're not really in like the same class as us as what we're doing. And then another one is going to be ZBC Contracting, which is another contractor located in Manayunk, offering home remodeling, bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel. They also service Philadelphia area. They don't really do New Jersey or anything like that. And they were founded over 20 years ago. And then another one of like our direct competitors is going to be Shabab Remodeling, located in Philadelphia. It's also a general contractor servicing the Philadelphia area. Services include home remodel, design, rebuild, construction, flooring, and framing as well. And our distribution is straight direct to sales, or direct to consumer sales, and our pricing strategy is a bit less constrained.
So part of our conclusion is talking a little bit more about what we accomplished as a group and where we saw fit to help the company, and that was social media and helping them achieve more business and kind of get a leg up on the competition. So we have up here our beginning of the Instagram page, the beginning of the website, and we also helped with getting our business owner on Nextdoor. We're still in the process of that, but we're working together to help achieve that. And finally, working with realtors, because obviously a realtor wants to sell a house. So if they're showing a house and there's not something that the customer preferably likes, then we have now given that realtor a tool to say, hey, we can change that for you. And I feel like it kind of helps both parties there. And we'd like to open the floor to questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I had a question about the conclusion and what you ended up resulting in as suggestions to the company. In that conclusion, did you do a benefit analysis to determine what increase in revenues or increase in exposure or increase compared to what they're doing now, and how does that affect their bottom line, really?
Right. So with the revenue, it was more so because it varies for each customer. So it was really how many customers can we bring to, how many new customers can we bring to the brand. So whether a customer comes in, they want their floor redone, or somebody wants an entire room redone, is kind of where that, so we could ballpark it, but we can't get exact numbers. But that ballpark kind of lands right around the 25,000 and up range, where we feel like we can bring that revenue to the company.
Question on one statement that I read. Says, when people hire Montcall Construction, they expect to get Brian Morris, and that is who is at every job site. I love that. Is that a brand promise? In other words, that's a promise that is made to every customer?
Yes.
Yes.
And if that's the case, doesn't that limit the growth potential because you can't be everywhere, right?
Right. So
how do you address that?
We actually see that still as a benefit, because our business owner knows how he likes things done and who he wants doing them. So leaving that in his hands is beneficial for the company. But you're right. We can't, essentially, if we were to grow the company to such a big scale, he can't be everywhere. But with that being said, he can still give input on each job, and he can still, run the show from whether it be a different state or somewhere else. But that's why we wanted to, keep the ball in his court, to where if we bring him customers, he still has the choice whether he wants to take them on or not. So there are some jobs that might not be taken because there are other jobs going on. Does that make sense?
I don't want to belabor it. It's just that I feel like it would either be spread very thin or limiting the growth if it is in fact baked into your promise of the brand.
Right. You're exactly right.
Yeah. I would also, and thank you for the presentation. I would also even take the idea from the other company that presented prior to, and even utilizing some tech school individuals, some interns, really build a connection with some of these tech schools that are in the area, just to have some just really built a staple in the community.
Sure.
That can be helpful. I heard you said something about one of the competitors does government contracting. I'm not sure if he tried to do some bids on government contracting as well to kind of help again, you miss 100% of shots you don't take. So being in that, that can be another form of revenue as well. And also just like, instead of, in addition to just direct to consumer, I mean, collaboration is key. Really being able to network with other individuals that that can make this house into a home. You know what I mean? So whether if it's individual that does drywall, does this company does it do everything?
It does do everything, okay. But like Montana said, utilizing subcontractors in some areas. So it would also be spreading them pretty thin to be doing all of the plumbing, all of the electrical. So it is most of the construction aspect of it, and then we kind of outsource the roofing or something more technical. Yeah, so say even if like, all right, I'm not getting a lot of work with roofing, then you collaborate with a roofing company, and that's how you guys can be able to really work with other clients, and build off of that. And I like what you said about the networking, because we're all college-age students. We know that coming out of school, people want to know where you're working. They want to know how it is. They want to know if you like it. So if we were to go that route, then you get people coming out of trade school and they're talking to people still in school, and you're kind of snowballing a network. There's a big increase in trade school admissions, so there's going to be a lot of really good workers coming out there, and I think it's going to be a great, great situation for him. Need more pictures for his Facebook. Is this Facebook? What is this?
So
It's Instagram.
IG? You need more pictures, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Video.
So our business owner had no social media to begin with. When we
Okay.
started working with them 3 months ago, it was just word of mouth or like Facebook groups like Women of White Marsh would be like, Ryan Mars did this job, it was excellent, here's his phone number. So when we worked with them, that's what we were creating, was a social media page. So we're still going to work after this project with getting photos on the Instagram.
That's good. What you can do, even some of his past clients, if you're like, hey, I'm really trying to build up my Instagram, I just need your help. If you can take a picture of some of the work I've done. A lot of people who they're invested in just, especially if you did good work, they're invested in showing that. And, you can get a lot of just pictures, but also, the loyalty and just, put them in like certain Facebook groups. Because these Facebook groups for stuff like this, it really goes. I mean, even for my practice, for the counseling side, we get a bunch of just referrals from just these Facebook mom groups. You know what I mean? And it just continues to just grow and grow. So we have a good loyalty program. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely, thank you.
What was your biggest takeaway from doing this project?
So, we didn't say in the beginning, but I'm a management major, marketing. So we jumped into a whole new space here. We saw an opportunity to help somebody that has helped us in the past, and we wanted to, learn as this went along. But what we learned was that these things are specific, and what that kind of entails is, like Mr. Nathan said, these Facebook groups and things of that nature really do have huge impacts, and it was pretty cool to see. And then get to go out and, personally try and grow this business was a very, pretty full circle moment for us. So we were proud to be a part of it.
How many projects does your client handle about a week or in a month? And with the potential growth of more marketing, how much more could they handle?
Right, so as you can see in some of these pictures, some are pretty large projects. So we usually keep it to about two projects, 2 to 3 projects a month, just depending on size, or I'm sorry, a week, depending on size. And then also, like Professor Schlosser said, trying not to spread them too thin, and then giving our best effort on each job. All right. Thank you all very much.
I have to say the 2 hardest groups to present are the first and the last. And this is the last group. They have sat here, sort of like the first group that, went and all of a sudden they're relaxed. These poor individuals have been very nervous for the last 2 hours, so it's up to you.
How's everyone doing? So the company that me and my group decided to partner with was Marciano's Bakery. It is a local bakery in Manioc, Philadelphia. So some of the main things that we wanted to focus on was the streamlined production process, inventory management, staff training and development, as well as market expansion and brand building. We believe with these things we can help solve the production inefficiencies that they're dealing with at the time.
So the industry analysis, the Italian baking industry is expected to continuously grow at an annual growth rate of about 5% during the next 6 years. Naturally in this industry, we see the most sales during the holiday season, with our slow period being the summer months and during the weekdays. We naturally see a ton more sales on the weekends.
While continuing to expand the Marjan branded name, Marjan has a plan on partnering with multiple establishments to create their own special unique brand for that business. The first one will be Surf Dogs and Bar Grill in Woodburn, New Jersey. We have found 2 local restaurants in the Philadelphia area. The first one being the Yale Ale House and the Lafayette Ale, and the CJ Elks in the Manioc area. We also understand the importance of Philadelphia sports. We, my group, have planned on incorporating a local sports team with the social media platform of Marciano's. As of right now, Marciano has 10K Facebook followers, a little over 3K Instagram followers, and just about 700 TikTok followers.
So our client is focused on bringing in college students such as Jefferson, Chestnut Hill, Villanova, and St. Joseph's. Along with that, we also would like to bring in residential families from the areas of Roxborough, Lafayette Hill, Chestnut Hill, Manioc, and also bring back generational families that basically came when Marciano's first started. Basically, the problem with Marciano's is customers purchase in big bulks during the holiday seasons, along with when they are running specials. So as a result, they struggle on daily operations. Now, Marciano's faces 2 competitors that we went and visited within the area. First, we have Conshohocken Bakery that is located in Conshohocken. They have a variety of tomato pies along with specialty tomato pies that are in a little bit higher price range than Marciano's. They also do have partnerships with local bakery, Lockchin's Bakery, and Sal and Jerry's Bakery that is located in New York. Second competitor that Marciano's faces is Corpelli's Bakery and Deli that is located in Norristown. They have a variety of their classic red tomato pie along with specialty tomato pie that is a little bit mixed with pricing with their tomato pie between Conshohocken and Marciano's. The difference between Marciano's and their competitors is Marciano's believes in their own product rather than sell a different company's product too. So we did some searching through Yelp on the 3 companies and their reviews. First review is Corpelli's that has a 4.6 star rating on Yelp. This review talks about how their tomato pie is not the greatest and that it's gone downhill throughout the years, and that basically when it comes to holiday season and game days, they struggle trying to get out the tomato pies to customers. Next, we have Conshohocken that has a 4.2 star rating on Yelp. This review, it kind of discussed about how the tomato pie is doughy, the sauce is kind of like sat down for days. The workers are not the greatest, and also along with that they're not homemade breads and everything. And lastly, we have Marciano's Bakery, which has a 4.7 star rating. This review kind of talks about how it is great. Their product is great, and despite parking is a hassle in Manioc, they're willing to do whatever they can to get their hands on Marciano's product.
Our goal for Marciano's is to increase the sales throughout the entire year, not just the typical holiday seasons. We came up with a plan to diversify Marciano's from its competition by partnering with multiple farmers markets. As a result of fixing the production problem, we plan on collaborating with Booth Corner Farmers Market in Garden Valley, PA, Lancaster County Farmers Market in Williams, PA, and Blitz Market down in Ocean City, New Jersey.
So when we first sat down with Marciano's, they discussed that their number one issue was production, as we stated. In their most recent collab with the old Ale House, they actually had to turn down 1,000 phone calls, orders. They didn't even pick up the phone because they couldn't fulfill the production. So we talked to them and recommended a loan in the amount of $180,000 to $200,000. And the loan breakdown is shown. An oven is going to allow us to make more breads, the 2 chillers to freeze the breads, so we don't have enough room for all of our bread to sell right now. The 2 employees will obviously help the production. And then, so the totals come out for those costs, $175,000, and we estimated to go a little bit above, just in case of any emergencies or extra costs. Continued. In the future, we estimated the earnings of our first Down the Shore collaboration with Surf Dog. So we estimated selling 1,000 breads. It's not a large number for us, but since it's a new market that we'll be breaking into, we decided to go with the estimate of 1,000. Selling the bread for $12.50, splitting the cost of splitting the revenue that we receive. Each company would go home with $6,250 after this collaboration.
So in conclusion, we believe that Marciano's Bakery has a bright future ahead for its success. We believe they have a great product. We believe that we just need to help them with this business plan to be able to get the product out to their customers. With the proper supplies, upgraded technology, and functional website, we believe that they will be able to maximize profit. And also keep spreading love around the Manayunk area because they're a well-known family, just known around the area in general. And then we will also like to continue the legacy of their father, Frank Marciano, who just passed away the last couple of months. Thank you.
Great job, guys. And I love the reviews. I think that's a huge impact on a business to know what the community thinks about what they're doing. Production and fulfillment. So a couple questions. If they need to spend $180,000, $200,000 on more equipment in their space, how are they utilizing the space they have right now? Are they working around the clock that they need more equipment? Are they there 10 hours? Can they fit more equipment in the space that they're in? Have they considered a ghost kitchen? Can they rent another space rather than put that investment in, $200,000 in equipment is a lot. Can they rent a space in the meantime, drive business, and then potentially grow from there?
So they actually have 2 bakeries in Manayunk. One, which is the retail, and one is a wholesale. So the way, if the retail store doesn't have enough space to operate, they basically have to go through the USDA and get approved to cook other breads at the other facility. So, but that is right up the street on Crams Avenue as well. So that's kind of how they deal with that issue.
So the retail store is just selling the product that's made?
Correct. And then the wholesale, so we already have farmers markets such as TNF, Lafayette Hill, a couple other farmers markets that we're in right now. And we basically deliver the wholesale breads frozen, packaged in boxes. And that's how we do that.
You had mentioned with the equipment, buying some freezer space. You can rent freezer space. You can have pallets of frozen bread stored and distribute right from there if that's one of those constraints.
Okay. Thank you.
$200,000 in new equipment is a lot of money for a small mom and pop shop like that. And that's why probably renting probably makes more sense. You didn't have financial information in terms of revenue for the company, and they may not have given it to you, and that's understandable. But that's a lot of pizza pies that they have to sell.
Well, our company, they didn't give us the exact financials, but when we sat with them, they have a revenue over $1 million a year, easily. It's just, yes, correct. But we believe that we could maximize that, and we're only scratching the surface if we could really get the production down.
So, did you finish? So the time where we're having the biggest issue is around holiday time, right? Because we can't fulfill the orders.
Correct.
Okay.
And Super Bowl weekend.
And Super Bowl week. So these really big ordeals. Are you guys thinking about maybe even just focusing on just that certain time to make sure that you may just need to be able to fix that time, and you can probably even increase revenue maybe 20%, because what's happening is if people are not getting the order in the right amount of time, and there's a reputation of that, then we're losing a lot of customer base. And there's a lot of spending in the holiday. People don't care about, about money in the holiday. Sorry, accountant. But so they're missing out on a really important time where they can really maximize their revenue. So is there a way that we can see what's not working in this time for the holiday, but also looking at times when maybe there is increased volume and they are picking up on it, like what's working on those times and what's not working on when it's
Correct. So me and my partner Blake were here. We actually both work for the company. So during the winter times and holidays, we're hands-on. We were able to see like the problems and the things that weren't working. So one thing that we recommended is actually taking the orders maybe even a month ahead of Christmas, a month ahead of Super Bowl, just so we could kind of have a better understanding of how many workers we need to, yeah.
A long time is like people's attention span can't even go a week, But I do hear what you're saying. So what I'm hearing is like the orders, like taking in the orders is the issue?
Well, taking in the orders, like that's not exactly the issue, getting the orders out. Because basically we'll get over 1,000 phone calls in one day, and everybody wants 20 breads for Christmas. And it's like, we got to stop taking orders after the first day. Yeah.
You got to figure out how to fulfill those 1,000 orders because everybody wants.
Yes, sir.
To kind of expand on that, like the crux of the issue is the expedience of the production process, right? Mm-hmm. So a concentration on the use of funds to specifically production and automation or whatever you identify as that key component that is stopping essentially causing that backlog or that traffic jam in getting it out the door. Did you look at what you're intending to invest in and how it relates directly to production, and how did you view that as this is how we're going to be able to solve this problem moving forward and as a holistic viewpoint as well? But yeah.
So I would just say the recommendations came from the owners themselves. We sat down with them and they said these are the things that they would need to complete the production issue. So those are kind of the exact things that they said with the 2 chillers and the oven to go in the spaces.
Yeah. So we didn't like just guess on the products we needed. Like they said specifically, if we have 2 workers, 2 ovens, another chiller, we'll be able to roll everything out and solve that issue. Correct.
Were you able to identify and I understand it's a collaborative effort where you're going back and forth with them, but what percentage increase in production were you able to achieve with the investment?
So no, we were not able to get to that. So
I would assume that we would be able to fulfill all of the orders after, because they said they had the 1,000. I mean, they had the 1,000 phone calls, but
turn the phone off.
yeah, they literally stopped answering. So, but hopefully with the chillers and the big oven, yeah, I don't know, because that is a lot of money for equipment. So, and it's brand new equipment, so you would hope that it's big enough equipment they could fulfill a lot of orders.
It sounds like that last piece of data would probably round out the presentation really nicely to just hone in on what's the percentage increase in productivity is this investment really going to make, and from there you could correlate a whole other host of data from that productivity investment.
Thank you.
Quick question again. You mentioned that the competitors use different companies to supply their ingredients or their dough every day. Mm-hmm. Did you, on your visits, ask why they do that and how it's saving them money compared to why your company doesn't do that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
You mentioned that the competitors of your client uses different companies to supply
Yeah.
daily needs every day?
Yeah.
Did you ask why are they doing that compared to your company not doing the same to increase production?
When we basically went and visited, we didn't really quite ask why they were kind of like, working with them. We kind of were just there to kind of like, see how their like tomato pies were, how they run things, and just kind of like see the overall products that they have compared to what we have.
Have you suggested potentially to your customers you're helping now to maybe trying to use a different company right now to supply their daily needs so they can grow productions compared to asking $200,000 to?
So we actually have, but our owners, they're opposed to that. So all of their products are made from scratch. So it's not exactly a company or somebody you can get that can implement their exact product, if you understand what I'm saying. So each bread is handmade, rolled, put in the oven, taken out, frozen. It is a process to make their exact product. So I don't believe that they would want to sell another company's product when what they have is solid. They just need to find a way to fulfill the orders.
Last one, and I'm done. Do you guys know if there's any specific orders like a certain type of bread that's really more popular? And is there when there is like a certain time when there's a higher amount of calls, like do you guys make more of that bread, like prep it prior to, and and kind of focus on that bread?
Right. So I will say their pepperoni bread is by far their most famous bread everyone likes. We actually had a chance to make a Super Bowl ad for the company, so they partnered with the Yay Owl House, and we made a specialty steak bread, and with cheese and everything. And within the first day, all orders were filled for the whole Super Bowl weekend. And so the video received over 60 to 70,000 views in 2 days. So I mean, it did well, but we haven't done another video since, because if you can't even,
promote that stuff getting sold out, because then
Okay.
people love exclusivity.
Okay.
That's why like my daughter has all these Telfar bags, because they always get sold out every other second. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the marketing piece right there. Like, I have to get it before it gets sold out.
Before it's sold out. Correct. Yes, sir.
I have one more question. I think I read it in your written, but now I can't find it now. You said you're $1 million business, but they don't accept credit card. Is that right?
Correct. That is correct.
What's the plan there? 'Cause if
So
you're
they
gonna
have an
continue to grow-
ATM. They're old-fashioned, old school. So they have an ATM. Customers come in, they put their card in, take the cash out, and that's just kind of they're old-fashioned. That's how they do things. We did suggest them doing a tap-and-go system, as well as Apple Pay and credit cards. We believe that would be more convenient for the younger generation. But as of right now, that's our target, is to get into the college students and being able to have different ways to pay for everyone. Correct.
How do they work wholesale? How do you do wholesale?
Wholesale,
or-
checks. Companies write checks.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Use the microphone so it'll work better.
Or we all just give them a. Okay. First of all, kudos to everybody that went out here. I definitely know it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, public speaking is one of the biggest fears. I should know I'm a therapist, right? It's one of the biggest fears. So you guys going over here and just being able to do that, I commend you guys. It took a while for us to go ahead and try to pick one, because there were a lot of goods and a lot of okays on just each one of your presentations. But we looked at each and every one of you guys, and we saw the determination, we saw the grit, and we saw that there's a lot of purpose behind all these. So again, whoever wins, That's great. Whoever doesn't win, it's still okay because you've learned so much. Okay. I'm not sure. Do you want me to say? I can't. Oh, I'm on a roll. I'm so nervous, right? So there were, like I said, there were a bunch of goods and some okays. There were one of the main things we were having an issue with was just the preparedness. I know a couple of you guys didn't have one of the major things that if you're talking with a VC, you didn't have a SWOT analysis, right? And that was one of the things that was kind of like really sticking out on us, right? I don't know if there's something else that you guys wanted to, because I can't remember everything else. I'm gonna let my fellow judges to be able to do so.
No, like we said, obviously we saw presentation style, how everybody was speaking. We understood that this was a first for you guys, but still saw what highlights were capable of. The things that we saw is just who achieved the objective, who came in here, hey, this is the business that we saw, and this is how we tried to contribute it, and this is what we learned from it. And those were the things that stood out for us and in making our decision.
So, the bottom line is, all of you did a really great job, and you ought to be proud of yourselves. Hopefully you took something away from this that if you were to do this tomorrow again, maybe there'd be some things you would do differently to help. But ultimately, the 7 of us looked at it and said, you know, Marciano's really did a great job of selling what they had in terms of the product and how they went about it. And that's who we decided would probably win this. Now, it doesn't mean that there was not a big gap between 2 and 7. So all of you ought to be really proud of what you did. But that's what we concluded. Was there anything else that we missed?
Thank you. Thank you.
All I can say is that you guys were all awesome. You truly were. Know that you got a good grade, and you're all going to graduate according to me. I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday. If you see this crazy lady cheering, it's probably me, because I'm really, truly proud of each of you. So that's it. It's Senior Sam. I hope you learned from this. I learned from each time. I can tell you that Chris had to leave, but Chris was in one of our first Senior Sams, and he's done a number of them. He said this group was the best he has ever seen. He was, you got the way you guys have improved and what was expected in the course. He said you exceeded what any other group has done before you. And that if you guys had been in a group before, you probably different winners, because we were different winners from the fall if you guys had done it, because you were so much better than the fall group. So take that away with you, because I think that's really important. And congratulations, and have a wonderful, you know what, when you get a job, please let me know where you're working, because I really do like to brag about you, and I like to, as I brag about Pierre, and I like to brag about you and like send you, you know, I know you all would love to talk to like an incoming first year in another year, saying, hey, yeah, this is what you should do, or don't take that course, or don't take that professor. So please let me know where you are so I can keep in contact with you. Best of luck always.